That was Sinners. What was it called? Grand Closing. And you're listening to a very, very special episode of Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio with me, of course, Reese Manigan. Okay, right. Now I'm going to be introducing you to my guest who I've been dying and buzzing to introduce for ages. And I've been so excited for her to be on the show. So, she is an actress who was in the horror movie Bone Lake. If you haven't seen the film, just a little spoiler alert, she gets a very, very brutal death in the very opening scene of the movie. Oh my goodness, the scene in it alone is absolutely shocking, brutal, dark, everything. But I tell you what an opening to a horror film it was. But she is here with me today to talk not just about Bone Lake, but of course about her acting, her career, what she wants to do, everything like that. So I'm very, very excited to introduce this next guest. Please welcome the very incredible and very super talented Eliane.
Hello. Now I can hear you. Let's see.
There we go. Anyway, how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for coming on today's show. I really appreciate your time, and also you're live from Atlanta. So don't worry, you're not the only first American guest I've had on the show who's had to stay up really late in the night to do this. So I always appreciate when I get an American guest who stays up in the middle of the night to do this show. So yeah, so thank you for that, and also just thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you so much for having me in your show on your show. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Well, likewise, I appreciate you being here as well. Absolutely. Right. Okay. So, we obviously, like I mentioned before, we're not just going to be talking about Bone Lake. I mean, even though you're definitely well known for that movie, we're here to talk about you as a person and what you do. But also, I got to say, you're part of Massive March. You're one of the biggest guests that I've had on this show. So I really appreciate that you've wanted to come on and do this, because what I really love is that there are many actors out there who think, oh, I've been in this big movie and now I can pick and choose what interviews to do and whatever and do whatever I want. But it's really nice to know that, you know, you have been in this film, but you're like, no, I want to come on this radio show and talk to you and be there and support. So it really means a lot that you're being very supportive about this. So I appreciate that. But let's go back right to the beginning of your backstory. So when did you want to become an actress in the first place?
I think I always had that on me. Since I was a little kid, I love storytelling. I love reading books, so I would read books and playing in my mind. I would after reading the book, I would play and I would pretend I was the character, and I had my imaginary friend that would say the other lines, and we would be playing that. So since early, I knew that I wanted to be. It took me a little bit longer. My path was longer, but I had that in me. I think the storytelling, the books, that contributed a lot.
So you read a lot to inspire you for acting.
Yes. I had a very happy childhood, and I was blessed to have a father that would read stories to me all the time. I was a kid. I was allowed to be a child, you know, and I think that's my backstory. That grew to me wanted to be an actress, and here I am. You know.
Amazing. Okay, so it all began with books. Okay, that's quite original, because normally people say, "Oh, I watched a film and I want to be like that and grew up like that." So I was saying, so you started out with books, and so when did you start to look at film and go, "Oh, that's where I want to." That's inspired me as well. Like, was there any movies that you grew up with that inspired you as well?
I think growing up in Brazil, we are always like all the soap operas. It was mostly soap operas, all the drama, all the being able to express yourself. Um, so that's what I always wanted to be. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to leave other characters, like to be able to today I am this person, tomorrow I am another person. And but I think not only 2 years ago when I started looking at film, I started working on sets, and I decided that's what I want, and from plays to little by little I got to film. I was working on sets, different sets. I started as a background, and then I said, you know what, I don't want to be just that, I want more. And that's when I said, I'm going to work my way. I'm going to learn, take classes, and put myself out there, because that's what I want, and that's what I'm doing now.
Okay, you originally said that you're from Brazil. So when did you move to it?
Correct.
So when did you move from Atlanta, from Brazil to Atlanta?
In 2000.
2000. Blimey,
In
I was
2000, yeah,
8 back then.
2000. Yeah.
Blimey.
Yes,
Wow. I was still a little
2000.
nipper
I
back then.
came
That's
to
crazy. And
America.
have you lived in Atlanta since then? Like you've
Yes.
never moved anywhere else? You've just stayed in Atlanta?
No, when I came to the United States, I was in Boston, the Boston area. And then I lived in Boston for 6 months. I moved to New Hampshire and I stayed there for 15 years. And then after I moved to Atlanta.
Ah, okay. That
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you've definitely been around then.
Oh, yes, yes, everywhere.
Okay, amazing. So when obviously you moved to the States, that's obviously when you were moving to your, I guess, film career side. So I mean, I forgot to. Do you know what I actually forgot to do? I forgot to bring up your IMDb. 1 second, because I did have a. Oh, there you go. I've got it up now. So going down your list, if that's okay.
Hmm. Sure.
I'm just quickly going to go from the beginning. So, you haven't been in too much I've probably seen, which is fine, but it's all good. But when did you? Do you remember your very first film, short film project that you did, and what was that experience like?
Oh, I worked in so many, but the first one, the meaningful one, was Revelation Party. I was the lead. The experience was amazing. So I will tell you right now, I had never had a bad experience. I'm doing what I love, and every opportunity for me, it's amazing. So I had never had a bad experience. The Revelation Party, I was a party. It was amazing. Was my first really experience on as a lead, and I don't know. I just love so much everything. The crew, the people that I worked with, amazing people, hard work people. We connected in all levels. We had fun. It was exhausting. We were back to back. It was filmed in 3 days.
Okay.
So it was back to back, but was amazing. My amazing experience.
Amazing. And it says here that it was only a short film as well, so it only took 3 days to shoot. Okay. It's. I mean, I'm looking here. You've obviously done quite a few short films as well. Also, you've been in an episode of All the Queen's Men. And looking down, it seems like you started only just a few years ago, 2023. So
Correct.
so the acting in a way did come quite later then, I guess. Like, it didn't come straight away. You had to still build your way up to it.
Yes, no, I didn't have the opportunity to dig into my career until later on. Before, it was just a dream. I wanted, I didn't know how. I had to raise a family, so I couldn't deviate from a regular life, and then later on, when I had the opportunity, I think it's when you get to the point when you start question. In my case, I start question, there is to be more to life than this. And I wanted to live my dream. How do I get to that point? But I think when you start thinking about those things, the universe goes for you, and I had the opportunity. I went out one day to relax, and I met an actor. We would start talking, and he was talking about his career, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. I want to so much. And we start talking, and that was it, was just that day. And after that, I started, no, I need to do something. And I start going researching, how do I jump in, how do I get into this again, how do I live my dream? And things start happening. I start digging, I start going to sets, um, looking for castings. And from there, from 2003, 2023 on, it's been an amazing experience.
That's great. And I'm guessing you're willing to go even further now that you've just done Bone Lake in a way, because that was kind of like your biggest moment. And I think it is, definitely.
It was my
Um,
biggest, yes.
so, obviously, I'm not going to jump into Bone Lake straight away because we're going to wait for just after. But there are some questions I do want to ask now that you've done the Bone Lake film. But the question I've got for you is, would you like what? Who? If you were to get there, let's say tomorrow you got the phone call, lead big film, you got there. Who would? What would the genre be for you? Who would the director be for you? And yeah, so what genre and which director would you go for if you got the phone call tomorrow that said, right, you're going to be a lead in this big movie, it's directed by so and so? What genre and director, who would you choose?
I think I would choose the same as, let's go, the Bone Lake director, the Mercedes. Bryce, I loved her. Um, I would choose her. Working with her was amazing. So I would pick her to work with me because it worked. Um, the way that she was directing was very good. So let's keep it safe. Let's do it again. You
So
know?
you wouldn't choose Spielberg, Tarantino, David Fincher, if they were to come into your minds?
Um, if I have to choose, let's give opportunities to people. The big ones, great, they have their names.
Yeah.
And yes, I would be deeply grateful to have the opportunity to work with them. But let's deviate from the big names. Let's give opportunity to the people that are out there and can do as much as they can. I'm all about
Do you know?
that.
Do you know what? That is the most considerate answer ever. Seriously, that is such a beautiful answer. The fact that you are saying, I don't care about the big names, I would rather work with indie filmmakers and all that. That is honestly the most gorgeous answer I've ever had from someone who has worked already. And like that, well done. Seriously, that is a fantastic answer. Do you know what? Hands down to you. Hands down to you. That
And listen, I am not saying that I don't want to work with the big
No, no, no,
names.
no. But it's good
I
that you're
do.
saying I'm not choosing the Hollywood lifestyle. I'm choosing the indie filmmaking style because they need the more support. I totally get what you're saying, but that is honestly a great answer. It's beautiful. So well done for answering that question like that. It just shows what a
Thank you.
considerate, down to earth person you are. That you are more about supporting rather than fame. So well done to you. Thank you. Well done. That is, no, seriously, great answer. Love it. Because most people probably would have been like, oh, I would work with Spielberg. Of course I would. That's my career. Boom, boom, boom. You were just like, no, I'd rather help than be famous. So well done.
Because you know what? Even big actors, like if everyone would consider not no-name actors and actors out there, would have opportunities for everyone. Let's deviate. It's not the big names that are able to succeed.
Yeah,
Do you understand what I
I
mean?
do.
Like everyone, there are so many people that don't have opportunity because they don't have the big names behind, but they are so great. So let's deviate from that. Let's
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
let's everybody work. Let's be happy. Let's You
You're
know,
speaking my
let's
language. You're
perform.
speaking my language. Exactly. This is what this show is all about. I've mentioned this. You know, Manigan's movie. It's about. It's not about actors or filmmakers just coming on to talk about themselves. They talk about the struggles they've had. Also, it's about working together, sticking together. You know, and unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, not every guest has been like that. I have had a couple of egos that have come on to be about themselves, but the 95% of them who've come on the show, they are ones that want to support each other, help each other. They don't care about being famous. So the fact that what you are doing right now, what you're answering, this is what the show is all about. So you are literally the perfect guest to be on this show for that. So again, well done. Well done. Honestly, it's amazing. Right, okay. So we talked about the directors just now, but what about the genre? Like if you had the phone call, what would be the genre for you if you was the leading star?
Suspense.
Suspense. Is it like thriller or
Suspense.
horror
Like
or?
thriller. Yes. Action. All combined. The one that goes for it. I don't want to be the victim. I want to play that strong character. Yes. You know, you can do it. I want to motivate people.
Hmm.
So that's the kind of genre I want. I want a meaningful, you know, drama, action, suspense, that will bring the best of the character.
I love how you say it with such enthusiasm. Like, I want the suspense. I want the action because I can do it. I love it.
Oh
Do you know,
yes,
it's the
yes,
most
yes. I
excitable
do.
answer you've given. Like, your face just turned like, yeah, that's what I'm after. Boom. Love it. Right,
Yes.
Eliane, you've answered the questions so beautifully. It's amazing. But we need to talk about Bone Lake after the next track. So this is why, because I've got so many questions that I want to ask you about that film and that scene. So we are definitely going to take a little breather and then prepare yourself because I've just got a few questions I really cannot wait to ask you. So guys, to bring up the theme of today's show, you know what I'm going to play now. Here's a little track from Bone Lake. See you in a moment. That is one of my favourite horror tracks. That was from Scream 5, Hospital Visitor. And before, I played a track from the movie Bone Lake because I might have a special guest who was in that movie, Eliane, and she's here with me live from Atlanta. And yeah, so welcome to Manigan's Movie Music, live on Love the Beat Radio with me, of course, Reese Manigan. Today is Massive
Yes.
March. And when I mentioned Massive March, I mentioned that I had 3 really big guests joining me from today, next week, and the week after. Today I have Eliane. Next week it's Gigi Bella, who was in Eddington, and the week after it's Ben Whitehead, who voices Wallace in Wallace and Gromit. So those 3 wonderful people are joining me this month. But Eliane is here with me right now from Atlanta. Eliane, how are you enjoying the show?
I am loving it. Couldn't ask
Good to know.
for
Good to
better.
know.
This is amazing. Thank you.
Great to know. So we already asked about question. In case people didn't tune in, we've already asked about your backstory, where you're from, what you do, how your acting built up, and the stuff you've done now. But we know why we're really here, don't we? We need to talk about your most known project so far, and probably your most shocking, most brutal, most big scene you've ever done so far in your filmmaking history, which is, of course, the opening sequence to the horror film Bone Lake. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that right now. So, I've got many questions I want to ask about this. And I know you haven't got a lot of time, but we'll squeeze up to 11 and then obviously, you know, it's all done. Right, so right, spoiler alert, guys. Eliane is in the very beginning of Bone Lake. It's the first scene that's like 2-3 minutes long. Her and her husband, not her real husband, but her acting husband, they run in the woods and they get chased by some dangerous people. Kind of like Wrong Turn vibes, I guess I got from this. Yeah, they both get really brutal deaths. I'm not going to explain what those deaths are because it's too early in the morning. But I got to say, for an opening for a horror film, Bone Lake really shocked me. I mean, I went into this movie blind. I did not watch any trailers. I didn't watch any spoilers. I didn't read anything about it. I just watched it with my wife one day and we were just like, whoa, that was an opening, like, for a horror film. But that's what I loved. I loved that it was shocking, and it was twisted, and the rest of the movie is as well. But my goodness, the opening sequence really, honestly, was like, whoa. And Eliane was one of the stars of the film who done it. So, Eliane, let's get down to the questions. Now, obviously, I asked you some questions off air about the scene and everything, but I'm not going to get into detail about that because this is a morning show, obviously. But to describe the scene, obviously, you and your husband, you get chased by these unknown assailants, which we find out who they are later. You're in the woods, typical horror film, chased by these dangerous people that we don't see, and then obviously you both get brutally killed in a very horror fashioned way, very 80s style, but very shocking. And so I just want to ask, like, when you were offered the role, or you auditioned for the role, or the film came about and you read that script, or you heard about the opening sequence, what
No,
was
I
your
su
reaction to that? Like, what was your reaction to it?
so I submit for the role, and I was selected, and I was in oh, I was like, wow, I got it. And I was selected for one scene, and after me and my husband, we went for the scene, they were like, okay, we like you guys, we want to explore more scenes. Then we had a second scene, and then a year later, they called us and said, we want more, we want the opening scene.
So you were saying that it was improvised. There was no script. The director trusted you. What was it like working with the director?
She was amazing. I mean, she was very, she explained what she wanted, and she let us to show what we got. She had some directions. Of course, sometimes she would say, do more this, do more that, but she trusted us. She let us to bring her vision to life. And she was very open, she was very kind. She was a very good director.
And definitely was, because that movie was very bizarre. I can't wait for what she's going to do next. Seriously, I'm definitely going to follow whatever she'll do next. And that's great that she gave you the confidence. So that scene that you was in, the final scene, obviously the scene was only 2 minutes long, I believe. But how long did it take for you guys to film?
We started around 5 in the morning, and we finished
Oh,
around 7 p.m. It was the whole day,
oh
the
wow,
whole day.
the
Hmm.
whole day. Yeah, I was going to say because you have a lot of makeup on. So there's no way that that could have been a 2 day shoot or a week shoot or anything. That would have been insane. Plus, as I mentioned, you guys didn't wear any clothing, so it would have been mad if, like, for a whole week, you're just like, oh, I'm just running around nude in the woods for a whole week, and I'll be back at lunchtime, That'd just be a bit funny, wouldn't it? Okay. Who was the actor who played your husband, and what was it like working with him?
He was Clayton Spencer. We got along very well. We met. We both submitted. We both got the role. We met on set, and let me tell you, since then, every time there is a scene like that, they call us to work together again. So we have been back on different sets for scenes like this, because how well we work together, how comfortable we are with each other. that was shown, and he's a great friend now.
Well, of course. I mean, you would not be friends if you're doing a
No,
scene
right?
like that. I mean, you have to be really comfortable
Yes,
to do a
yes.
scene like that. Otherwise, it'd just be awkward. Like, yeah, I worked with him and I know everything about him.
No, literally.
But that was great though. Like, it was a really. I mean, the scene was all. I mean, the whole. I mean, obviously, I don't want to explain in detail how your character gets killed, but how did you shoot that scene where your death scene? How was it shot? Like, because obviously you get, in a brutal way, but how did it look, or how did it feel when you did the scene? Like, what? Explaining like
So
how
let
you
me
done
tell
that
you,
scene.
we were naked at 33 weather degree, 33 degrees weather. It was cold, okay, in the middle of the woods, running. I think the cold weather made us suffer a little bit. So that all the suffering that you see there, yeah, the cold weather helped. Like the shivering,
It wasn't the fact you were getting
cold.
chased by killers. Then
Yeah,
you were just like,
let me
oh,
let me
I'm
run for my
cold.
life.
I
I'm
don't care about the
cold.
killers. Where's a jumper?
um, I mean, it was us running in the middle of the woods. Of course, the crew was amazing. They were going before us, trying to take all the sticks and stones that they would see so we could run that path. But yes, we
Yeah.
were running in the middle of the woods. And when they say action, you don't go, oh, there is a tree here, there is this here. You just go for your life, and you be realistic as much as you can. And we did it. And all the falling 10,000 times to get the scene right. Yeah, we did it.
Wow. So you went for a lot of takes for your death scene. So you died about a
Yeah,
thousand
it
times
was
then.
a long, yeah, it was a long day. It was many takes because they need to get it right, and especially because there are more special effects and everything, so they need to coordinate everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
But we did everything. There was no stunts. It was us falling. Was And you wanted that to be amazing, perfect. You want that to be real. So I was falling and I didn't care, I'm getting hurt. No, I didn't really get hurt, but I was falling and I didn't care.
That's incredible, and it shows what an incredible sport you are to do something like that. It must. I mean, I tell you what. I bet afterwards you must have been so proud of yourself for doing it. You must have thought, "Wow, I did it."
I It was my list. That character was checked. I did it. I was naked. I was running. I was a stunt. I was It was really challenging. And yes, say yes. And uh-huh.
How long did it take? Sorry, I was just going to ask. How long did it take for the makeup to be on? Like the makeup in general.
uh, it didn't take long, really. Probably like an hour, because it
Oh,
was
okay.
it was
Yeah,
made in
because
pieces.
normally,
So the beginning they did, and then after you run, you have to go back and do the second part, to show what they want. So it was done in pieces, but it did not take long. They had very good people working on it.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. I was just going to say because I know sometimes with makeup that's normally the first half of the day taken up, because it does take hours, and obviously, I mean, I know the film wasn't like a blockbuster movie or anything, but I know that makeup is always so time
Hmm.
consuming. So I didn't know if they had to, do the makeup and it was like hours and make sure they get it right. And if it was one day shoot, then the makeup had to stay on and everything like, because anything can go wrong. And that's the thing. Um, Brilliant. Well,
So that
sorry,
that
yeah.
scene, because it was running in the woods, the makeup, so you get messy, right? You couldn't be perfect. It didn't have to be perfect, because if you make it too
No.
perfect, they say, oh, that's not realistic.
Okay, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Plus, also because I'm a filmmaker myself, I always look at the editing and how it's done and stuff like that. So I'm always checking to see, like, did the makeup stay on? Was this a stunt double and everything like that? But now you've
It was
confirmed it was
me.
you and the other actor.
Thank you.
Well played, Tia. And like I said, the movie, in my opinion, is very, very bizarre. But I did like it. It wasn't my favourite horror of the year, though, I will admit. But it was probably one of the shocking. I will admit that. It was definitely on my shock list. But in terms of, was it the best one? In my opinion, it wasn't. But I did really enjoy it. It's an enjoyable film. But at the same time, because obviously I didn't know what I was going in for, me and my wife, we did watch it and we were just like, okay, so that's the film. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, so that was happening, because obviously I'm not going to spoil the movie, because obviously I'm only talking about your scene, but yeah, afterwards I was like, wasn't expecting what happened there, that certain thing, so yeah,
A
it kind
twist,
of,
right?
whew. Anyway, so, yeah, exactly. Right, so, Eliane, I know you've only literally got like 5 minutes left now, so we're going to, just going to quickly ask you this, though. Now you've done Bone Lake, and I'm assuming this will definitely take up a career path, absolutely, for you doing that scene. So, would you like to be in another horror film? Like, would that definitely be another
Yes.
thing for you?
Yes. I want always more. I want to improve. I want to, yes, that's my goal.
Incredible. Well, if you're into shock and brutal stuff, hopefully you get a role with Welcome to Derry season 2. Because if you've seen Welcome to Derry, I mean, my goodness, that was really dark. Like last year, that was an incredible TV series, and I love that. What I love, especially because I'm a horror fan myself, I don't know if you can tell, but like with me, I'm so glad that horror is now going back to being brutal, because I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, we had Hereditary, we had Babadook, and those were very like psychological dark movies and they scared me. But it's kind of nice that now they're sort of going, do you know what, we want to bring back that brutalness of it, and we want to shock the audience and they can take it. And Welcome to Derry done that. Bone Lake done that. We've seen some other projects that have kind of gone to do that. And I know that also right now, I don't know if you know this, but they're rebooting a very controversial horror film called Faces of Death, which comes out in April. And I saw the original, and it was shocking, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But what I'm glad now is that they're rebooting this horror, and they're going, do you know what, we're going to bring it back, but we're going to go even darker. And I was like, oof, this is going to be interesting. So, yeah, I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but do you have an opinion on the fact of horror being, it's good that it's coming back being shocking, or do you prefer the
I
psychological
like
side?
both, but growing up, horror for me was the shocking, was all the scenes that they are bringing back. You understand? So I'm all for it. That's what should be, and who knows? Maybe I will be the next getting killed again, or who knows if, or maybe
Or the next
next, or
Scream Queen?
the one killing. You know?
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
or maybe the next Scream Queen, like Jamie Lee Curtis or Neve Campbell. You might have a franchise coming out.
You never
You
know.
never know.
That's
Right,
the
Ilane.
acting career. You never know. You never know.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I'm sure you'll definitely get there. Right, Ilane, we've only literally got a minute and a half left. But I've got to say very quickly, it's been such an honour to have you on this show. I've really enjoyed asking these questions to you. You've been an absolute joy to talk to. I appreciate you so much for your time, you being here, talking to me. And honestly, I'm glad that you've been so open with your questions and you've just gone, yeah, I'm happy to tell about this. It's great. You've honestly been one of the most chilled guests I've
Mm.
had in a little while, and I appreciate you so much. So thank you so much
Thank
for your
you so
time.
much for having me. I have to tell you again, I'm as happy to be here as you are to have me. So thank you very much. And thank you all of you
Absolutely.
that are there listening to this. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of
Yes,
you.
thank you to, of course, yeah. Yep, there you go, guys. She shouts out to you listeners. Right, we're going to get into the second half of the show now. I'll be reviewing Scream 7. So the horror is not going away. I'll be reviewing Scream 7, and then obviously I'll update you on some movie news or anything like that. But this was a real treat to have Eliane here. And I'm, again, so honoured she's been here to stay on the show. But please stay tuned, guys, because I want to talk about Scream 7, which comes up next. You're listening to Manigan's Movie Music, live on Love the Beat Radio. She is live from New Mexico to join me today. She's staying up drinking a lot of Diet Coke to stay awake, which I'm very honoured about, but she's going to be completely Diet Coked out by the end of this show. But I am really pleased to announce my guest today is none other than the very creative, the awesome, the spectacular, the very unique Gigi
Hey
Bella.
Reese, how's it going? I'm doing quite well.
Hello,
I'm
how are
not
you?
sleepy yet, so we're doing a good job.
Amazing, amazing. I really appreciate you being here today on the show. I know that you're live from New Mexico, which is very different because normally when I have American guests, they're either from LA or California. Last week, though, Eliane was actually live from Atlanta. So now it's very nice to meet someone who is now live in a very different place, New Mexico. What's
In
it
New
like over there at the
Mexico,
moment?
right now, the juniper's blooming like crazy, so allergies are insane. But it is very dry. The sunsets are crazy. We have our own style of food here. We have a famous question that we ask, which is red or green, which is referring to the chili. So we've got red chili and green chili. And I'll ask you with no context whatsoever, Reese, based on nothing at all. What's the correct answer to that question, red or green?
I'm
Ooh,
going to
hot
ask
take.
red, maybe.
I'm a green gal myself, but they're both good. Red is really good on mashed potatoes. Um,
Oh, fair
but yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, mashed potatoes. Okay, that's quite interesting. Amazing. Well, anyway, it's really lovely to have you on this show. Not only because you was in one of my favourite films of 2025, but I've been following you on Instagram for a while now, and you do some really unique stuff. Like you do poetry, you do writing, you wear very unique costumes because obviously you love to dress up as well and perform, I'm guessing. So this is not just about obviously Eddington. We are going to talk about you, but let's start from the very beginning. When did you start getting into the whole writing and poetry to begin with? Is that what kicked it off for you?
Yeah, I started writing poetry when I was 15. My friend kind of tricked me into going to a poetry slam, um, which, if you're not familiar, is a competition. Um, and I had no idea what I had stumbled into. It was really crazy, but I just fell in love with it. And I
Okay.
was very shy and didn't read in front of people for a long time. I just would show up and watch and write in my notebook at the back of the room. And then I had somebody come up to me and say, "Hey, we've seen you here a bunch of weeks in a row, and you're always scribbling at the back, and you should read something." Um, and so I gave it a shot. And I've been competing and performing for the last 16 years. I'm the 10th ranked woman poet in the world. Uh, and I've published a couple of books.
Oh, wow.
Um, I'm a national poetry slam champion. I represented New York at a few competitions. It's pretty much been my whole life. And then it kind of culminated in me bringing a one woman show of my poetry and comedy and music and costumes all the way to your way, to the Edinburgh Fringe in Scotland last August. So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey.
Oh, wow. Wow, it sounds like it. And how did you take? How did you find the Edinburgh Fringe? Did you enjoy it? Was it
Yeah, it was
good?
lovely. Very different from where I'm from. But the folks were so kind, and I really enjoyed. I did a 10 show
Obviously.
run. Um, and I loved doing that with the Hill Street Theater. Um, and I got to be out there with my band, and you know, it was just such a unique, amazing place. Like, how often do you perform down the street from a castle? It was really, I really, really enjoyed it. Had a great time.
Amazing. And so, so you've done all that, and you've taken obviously your poetry and performing out there. You also do a bit of singing as well. Is being a musician also part of your like life choices or life career? Maybe like something that's where you want to go.
My life choices, definitely. Um, yeah, I love making music. I play a bunch of instruments. I was actually a songwriter before I was ever a poet or an actress or anything else. It just was the thing that kind of found me first. So I go back to it quite a bit. Um, I don't know that it's like a major path for me, but I find that I am a person kind of like a Renaissance person. I just have a lot of these little side quests, and sometimes I'm making music, and sometimes I find myself in a movie, and it just kind of depends on the day.
Amazing. So, in terms of the acting part, then was that you said that was something that happened by accident, I guess. But when did your first, I guess, acting part begin? Was it with Eddington, or what, did you do any acting before you got your chance to be in
I've
that
been a
movie?
theater actress a long time, and I've done a lot of plays and musicals. That definitely is something that has my heart, that I've also been doing since I was really young. But I've been in and out of it. The poetry stuff kind of took priority in my life. And so I have a lot of skill, that's just been kind of sitting dormant. I went to school for theater for a good long chunk of time, and have studied with a lot of really amazing people. Um, but, I never really had any kind of professional opportunity to do something. And New Mexico is really, really ripe for the film industry. We've got Netflix studios with their hub here now, and there are many huge projects that have filmed here ever since Breaking Bad. So there's often like work to be done. And funny enough, I was raising money to go to Edinburgh. So I was looking around for casting calls and different things, and I ended up working background on quite a few sets. And when you're working background, you just kind of send in your photos. You find the casting calls and you send emails. And so I was just sending hordes of emails because I was trying to get these little like minimum wage jobs on these different sets. And all these casting calls were just on Facebook. So I was just sending emails based on these little posts on Facebook. And I saw one that was a call for protesters. They were asking if you had ever been to a protest, and looking for people with dyed hair and tattoos and piercings, and so just people gonna send in for that, but I had no idea what it was for. I had no idea the journey it was going to take me on. So, that was kind of an accident.
Amazing. Okay. So obviously that's what led you to Eddington then. But before we do talk about it, because obviously I will have a lot of questions to mention that. You right now you're in studying. What is it you're doing at the moment
Sure, I'm
currently
I'm
while
getting a
studying?
master's degree in Chicano studies, which is a cultural field based on Mexican identity, and I am Mexican, and I identify as Chicana. Um, and I very proudly represent my culture through my poetry and through the advocacy that I do. especially in America right now. I think it's really important to advocate. So I am doing a lot of work on my thesis currently, which is about my time on Eddington and a lot of the positive experiences I had, um, and
Nice.
the
Okay,
way that
amazing.
um, the way that Mexican folks appear in film and television.
Amazing. That is, yeah, that sounds great. So, so you're really putting your all into the whole culture side of it all, which is brilliant because it's always about following what you believe in and who you are and everything. And I love that. I love when people do their personal backgrounds into that. That's what makes the work more better. Okay, so I suppose we do need to go straight into the Eddington stuff because I do have a lot of questions I'd like
Yeah.
to ask you about that. The thing is, it means a lot to me because that film was just so brilliantly done. Ari Aster is a genius, in my opinion. He is. He's so underrated. Even though he's done some good stuff, I still find that he's very underrated. A lot of people sometimes don't give him that much credit. They just kind of look at him and go, "Oh, he does these weird films." I think the only two films that they prefer to talk about is Hereditary
Mhm.
and Midsummer. Beau was Afraid and Eddington, they kind of sweep it under the carpet. But I mean, that's such a shame because I think they're both. To be honest, I think Beau was Afraid and Eddington are his better work. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Hereditary and Midsummer. They are really amazing films, but I feel like Beau was Afraid and Eddington had something in those films that just really kept you like
Mhm.
more under your skin and how the execution was on both those films because they were just so uniquely done. So with Eddington, obviously, you worked with this genius. You probably obviously saw him and everything. So what was it like to meet Ari? And did you get a chance to talk to him, or what was it like to work with him in
Yeah.
general?
So Ari is my favorite director. Uh, and I did get to meet him. I did get to speak with him. He's lovely. He's really like just a wonderful, sweet person. You would not think that all of that is going on in his head when you're talking to him. But he's just very generous with his time and um, the way that he works with the people around him. So, in the process of kind of sending in for that Facebook call, I sent in a bunch of stuff and then didn't hear back for a very, very long time. And I was sending, hundreds of emails. So I didn't even think about it. But then I got a request. I mean, I got a phone call one day and this woman was like, you need to clear your schedule for Friday. You need to be available on Friday. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And then the next thing I knew, I had a Zoom request with Ari Aster in my inbox. And so we had a meeting, an audition over Zoom. Um, it was insane. I've never been so nervous in my entire life. And, I did have things I had to prepare and things they wanted to see. Um, but mainly, he just wanted to talk to me about me. And he wanted to ask me about my experience with the protests in 2020, about my experience with police violence. So we had a chance to talk really intimately about those things and my personal experience with them, which I found incredibly meaningful, that he cared enough to converse with me that way. Um, because, to him, I'm like such a small part of this whole thing, but he took that time out and I really appreciated it. Um, and from there, then it was just it was like an agonizing month of waiting and thinking that I didn't get it and feeling so depressed and just like beside myself. Um, I had this like shirt that kind of looked like those costumes they wear in Midsummer when they're going to do the ritual dance thing. So I put on that shirt and I lit a candle every day, like as a ritual. And I played Always Be My Baby by Mariah Carey because that's the song in Beau's Afraid. And so I just did like a little Ari Aster ritual every day because I was holding out hope that I was going to book this movie. Um, and sure enough, after like a month of waiting, I booked it, and it was like very whirlwind. Then they were like, cool, next week you're coming to Truth or Consequences. We're going to film. We're doing this and this. You be here for a week, all this stuff. And yeah, we went out there and had a rehearsal with him. Joaquin Phoenix came to the rehearsal, and just meeting and talking with them is regular and normal. It was crazy. It was crazy, and really, my favorite part of the whole thing was getting to read his script and getting to watch him work, because he really is masterful and he really is overlooked, and I just think he deserves all the flowers in the world. Like, he's just such an intentional artist. And you can see him and Darius Kanji trying to make sure the clouds in the sky line up, and we're all waiting out there sunburned, like, we don't care about the cloud, but they care about the cloud. It's they need it for their movie. And it was really, really cool to get to be a part of that.
That is incredible. I mean, honestly, that was such an investing story. I loved it. That was just amazing. And the fact that you got to meet the master as well, and you talking about him is just so surreal to me. That's just amazing. I mean, yeah, he is. He is a master filmmaker, and I absolutely love what he does. And what you said as well about him being such a sweet man, and you wouldn't imagine him thinking this. It's so weird you should say that, because Nathan Lane from Beau is Afraid said that when he met Ari, he said, "Oh, he's adorable and he's such a sweet man." And you wouldn't think he would make such a messed up movie, because he's such a lovely guy. So when you said that, it was just like what Nathan Lane kind of said, that he's this lovely guy, but you wouldn't think he would be making these insane films. But obviously, I mean, I loved about the history of Eddington. Like, I was reading a lot of backstory about it, and the fact that Ari made it because of Twitter. He said if it wasn't because of Twitter, this film would not have been made. And I completely agree, because, by the way, I hate Twitter. I used to have Twitter, but I deleted it because it's so negative and it's so horrible. It is literally probably one of the worst of all the social medias, in my opinion. I mean, I'm more of an Instagram guy, definitely, but honestly, Twitter was a terrible thing. And obviously he was writing about his anxieties during COVID. But when I was watching that film, what I loved about it was that you could laugh at it, because they really did go to the absurd satire of it. But at the same time, you're like, wow, we were really that messed up years ago, and we really didn't take it very well, and we were making up our own rules, and if you didn't follow that person's rules, and you were going to get in trouble for it and all that sort of thing. I mean, in my opinion, COVID was definitely the worst couple of years. I mean, 2020 and 2021, in my opinion, were some of the worst years I ever had in my life. I mean, I was depressed during COVID. It was horrible. The anxiety, the panic and everything. And now I look back on it, I'm just like, it was just such a bad time. But the movie, in a way, what I love what Ari's done, in a way, it's kind of like a middle finger to them to say, look, you were this bad, you were this insane, you were this paranoid, you were this, you didn't really take matters into your own hands in a certain way. So in a way, I kind of like that he's kind of stuck a middle finger to the world to say, this is what did happen, this is what we did think, and you got to accept that. Because I remember when the media backlash, they were like, oh, we weren't this bad, this movie's not telling the truth, and I remember watching the film and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what was going on, and this is how insane we kind of did get, so that's what I love about what Ari done. Because funny enough, just a little bit about what I done, I recently made a film called The Bucket, which came out last year. And because nowadays I've noticed that since after COVID, the world has definitely become very aggressive. And we're now getting everyone's at that stage where everybody's offended by everything now. Like, literally everything. It's ridiculous. So I made a film called The Bucket, because the film was basically taking the mick out of comedy to say, do you know what, I'm going to write whatever the hell I want. Because it got to a stage where even casting actors now, you could write something that was so innocent, but they read the script and they go, oh, there's a red flag there, I'm not saying this, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, why? I'm like, what's wrong with it? Oh, because it's offensive. What's offensive? You're just saying the word it. What's offensive about the word it? You know what I mean? It got that bad. Anyway, so because of this ridiculous mind that everyone seems to have where everything's bad, everything's negative, I wrote the film to do a middle finger to the world to say, I'm going to write whatever comedy I want, and if people get offended, I don't care. And amazingly, people loved my film. They loved it. They said, this is the comedy that we need back. I said, yes, we do. And luckily, thanks to, Seth MacFarlane, who'd done the Ted series, and he'd done, the new Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson, and now we've got a Scary Movie 6 coming. It's like, at last, they're bringing back the comedy that we all love and that we all should have. Because at the end of the day, we only live once. We need to enjoy life and laugh again like we used to, And I feel like COVID did kind of suck out all that energy and positivity from everybody, because there were people that I saw after COVID and they just weren't themselves again, and it was like, yeah, but COVID's now over, we can try to repair ourselves, but they were like, no, everything's negative now, everything's bad, we can't have that. And so I can kind of see what Ari was doing at the same time with that, with his, the satire of it all and how the tone kind of changed as well. So I really admire Ari for doing that. So when he done it and I was watching it, I was like, that's kind of like what I'm doing, kind of middle finger to the world and say, look, you are this insane, you are this paranoid. We need to learn to relax and stick together again and not go against each other and all that sort of thing. And that's what I loved about
I think
Eddington stuff.
I think
Also,
that
of course,
the main thing that I go back to when I hear him talk about the film and his reasons behind why he made it and the way that he chose to go about it, I really, really like when he speaks about hyper individualism, like just all of us existing in our own bubble and being completely, totally
yes,
out of touch with people around us and the world around us, and that he wanted to make a movie about that weird kind of selfishness that we can inhabit when we're afraid, when we're in times of crisis, and when things are feeling really like a powder keg. And I think
yes,
I really appreciated that he was able to find the humor in it, that he was able to find the humanity in it. And I think that it's a really valuable movie for those reasons. I think it'll become, over time, the definitive movie about that time in
yes,
history. And I think he really did, put his own stamp on the message, like you're saying. And I think it's important for artists to do that, especially in historical
yes.
moments like that need to be preserved through commentary, and through art. And I think he did a really great job of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, every film he does, he does a great job. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I know, and he was even saying again about the whole fact that we used to trust each other, and since COVID, that line has now been cut, and now we're just kind of like, as you said, everyone's doing their own selfish ways, and they're just like, no, I'm looking out for me now, and everyone else can screw themselves and all that. And I can, I can definitely see what he was trying to say as well, because I remember I saw an interview when he was mentioning that and how the negative impact has come. But yeah, it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's what I love what he done, because it was a sort of like, like I said, a sort of middle finger to the world to say, yes, this is how bad it got. But that's what I love. I love when people do films like that, when they do say, look, you are like this. The world has become like this. Don't deny it. Just stick at it. And that's why people get so angry, because they don't like to hear the truth. In a way, Eddington was like a free speech film. And my film, The Bucket, was like a free speech film. And basically, we're just trying to say, look, at the end of the day, my film in particular was like, look, we need to learn to stick together again and not be so selfish. And we're all going through stuff and we all have stuff going on, but we can't like be, against each other, and not everyone's
Yeah.
bad, everyone's got stuff going on,
I mean,
we're all
I
sort of
think
anti-heroes
something
in
that
our
really
own
stuck
way,
with me also from the other side of it, like being directed in that space, and like when we would talk on set about what we were doing,
Yeah.
even though it was this like dark comedic approach to this moment, everything that we were doing and the way that we were
Yeah.
directed to do it was completely earnest. And we were just directed to be as
Oh,
truthful as humanly
absolutely.
possible, and to really, really buy in and believe in the things that
Absolutely.
we were saying and putting out there. And when you think about that and think about that, like you were saying, not everyone is just bad all the time. I think that we all, in our own way, are acting in earnest. We're trying to live truthfully, and sometimes those things don't match up, and it's really, really difficult when that conflict happens. And I think we've lost the ability to speak through that conflict. And instead,
Yeah.
we just kind of erupt into chaos, which is
Absolutely.
what happened in the film, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's what the movie is. Big
yeah.
chaos. And it was, Um, okay, so now we've got the whole, COVID political stuff out of the way. We'll just jump back into the film. So when I look back at your part now, when I noticed I was going to interview you, I look back at your part, and I see you
Mm.
standing behind Joaquin Phoenix in the shot where he's arguing with one of the kids, like a proper, very controversial argument with one of the kids, which it did sort of make me laugh a little bit
Yeah.
because it's like watching two children argue, except Joaquin Phoenix is acting like the child, and the child's acting more like the adult, and that's what kind of made it a little bit funny. And there's you in the back going, "Rah!" Screaming and all that and everything. It was really good. So with that scene. How many shots did it take to do that scene? And secondly, was that the final? Like, was there more to that scene when the final cut got released? Like, was there more going on in the script and the scene, or was the final scene we see the actual shot that you needed? Like, was
Oh
it, or was there
man,
more
Reese.
in it?
It so that scene, uh, that scene took an entire day. It took an entire 12-hour day, 13-hour day. And it originally was like 21 pages long. There was a small group of about 11 of us
Oh
that
wow!
were cast as these named protesters. Um, and we were all just like young people who had not had a big break on a film yet. And I thought that was really, really neat that he like sought us out specifically. And so we kind of all got to have this experience together, which was really amazing. And those are people who are dear to me because we all burned out in the sun together for many hours. But we had to do a rehearsal for the scene, so we had a whole day that was just rehearsal. Um, and there was a smaller protest scene, which is the one where he's like coming around the corner in the car after he sees Eric on his bike and whatever else. And there was a tiny little group of us, so we rehearsed that at the end of the day, and I'm in that little group, looking very blonde. And then we rehearsed the big, huge protest scene, like the 11 of us out in the street. And, um, it, we got new pages the night before. So then there was stuff, even more stuff being added. As part of my audition, I had to send in a protest that I improvised. So I had to improvise my own, like, about a cause, about something that I believe in. And when I got pages the night before the big day, a whole like chunk of my improv was in the script. So I had like a whole monologue. When you see me following Joaquin and yelling at him, that's what I'm yelling, is the stuff from my audition. And I have these pages that have my words on them, but they're from, like a watermarked Ari Aster script, which was really, really surreal. But there were many, many like pieces like that for the 11 of us that are in that scene. But now we're all pretty indecipherable. Um, but I mean, it was like they were turning those cameras and they were like, all right, now we're going to get this shot of Emery, and now we're going to turn over here and we're doing Caleb and this guy, and now we're doing this thing over here and capturing this one argument. And it happens so fast, and it's like a 6-minute scene in the movie. But I mean, it was all day for us. And in Truth or Consequences, that's south. So the weather's very, very temperamental, and it's hotter. It's about like 10 or 15 degrees hotter. So my shoes were melting and my eyeballs got sunburned. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. But we were out there, and they would stop a shot, and there would be people running at you with umbrellas and sunscreen and spraying the part in my hair and spraying us down with sunscreen. We have to like down Gatorade in 15 seconds, and then they're like, all right, we're resetting, we're rolling, we're getting ready to do it all again. And it was crazy because the scene was so intense, you know. So we were all just, and there were like 200 people out in the street also, like extras. So I mean, it was just chaos. It was super, super insane. We had a big camera on a huge crane just sweeping in and out, and you had to not get taken out by that camera. You had to be really aware of where that camera was all the time. It was the craziest thing. Yeah, I don't, it was much longer. It was insane. And one of the most insane days of my life, for sure.
I'm sure it was, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it was all worth it, 100%. I mean, to work with Joaquin and to work with Ari Aster, I mean, you definitely, you hit the mark there, 100%. And like I said, I did watch that scene a little bit, a couple of times, because I knew I was going to be interviewing you, so I was analysing it, and I was just like, I wonder how long it took to do that scene. I wonder if you had a part, like maybe you could have slapped Joaquin's hat off his head or something, or I mean, I don't know. You never know. It could have been in an outtake or something. But no, that's really great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that you answer those questions. I'm sure that's really, really great. So now you've had that experience being in that film, and now it's there, and people have been approaching you since then because obviously they know that you're on there and everything. As you said, you've had a lot of people come up to you because of that scene. I mean, would extra work and maybe acting now be in a direction for you to go
You
on
know,
for,
I
along with
tell
the poetry and the
people
writing?
that being in Eddington was kind of one of my side quests. It really, I never could have predicted that in a million years, and I'm so grateful and so blessed. Um, and I feel like the world's luckiest woman, really. But for me, I I would love to work on another film eventually at some point. However, I know that there are folks for whom that's the dream and the goal and the big thing for life, and that is not necessarily my goal. Um, but I what I realized and what I learned from that experience put me in a place where I would really, really like to use the position I'm in to create some positive change. And I think there are some changes that are long overdue. So I'm using my schoolwork, I'm using my upcoming book of poetry and this experience on Eddington to talk about some practices within casting that I believe are unfair towards Mexican people, and especially the New Mexican people working here. There's a lot of derogatory terms that get thrown around in casting calls. And I've made it my mission to have those completely eradicated. I think that there's a level of respect that is missing. And people kind of say, oh, we need those stereotypes to exist in order to do our job. And I just really believe that there's a better way to do it. And Eddington taught me that. They put out a casting call that was very like direct, saying, "Hey, have you ever been in a protest? We're looking for these people. We're looking for if you have these things that match up." It wasn't derogatory. It wasn't unkind. It wasn't like seeing anybody a certain way. But when you watch the film, we're kind of like punk teenagers. Like we're awful. We're not the heroes of the movie. They could have been really awful in that casting call, and they weren't. And I just think that that should be the standard. That should be the baseline. And so I'm using the spot I'm in to kind of pursue that. I think that's the best thing we can do with a tiny platform, is get out a megaphone and start speaking for good.
Amazing. Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to stop the questions there now. But that was brilliant to listen to. Honestly, Gigi, I appreciate that you told me this story and what you thought and what the experience was like. It's incredible. And the fact that you was in the movie and you're talking to me about it is just it's just so surreal and amazing, because like I said, Ari Aster's one of my favorite directors, and the fact that you got to be in one and you did it and everything, it's just incredible. And the fact that now I've got you as a contact and I guess a new friend now to talk to about that sort of thing, it's just great. And it's so inspiring to hear you talk about that you want to write about film, and where you live there's filming going on, and you've got Netflix, and you worked with Ari Aster and all that. It's just amazing. Like, everything you've done and everything that seems to be going on is incredible. It's just amazing. It's really investing. It's very influential. So, and it's very inspiring as well. So that is fantastic that you've done it. So well done.
Thank you.
And congratulations again. And it's amazing. However, as you know, you are on Manigan's Movie Music, and I will be talking to you next about some films and everything like that. But first, I think we better take a nice breather. The ads are going to be starting playing in about 10 minutes, so we're going to play some tracks, go on to the ads, and then we're going to get into the second half of the show. So I'll be talking to you about films in general and some stuff that's going on and your opinions on bits and bobs. Also, of course, I need to review the movie Hoppers, which I will be talking about next after that as well. So yes, guys, so don't go anywhere. We'll be walking into the second half of the show. So I'm going to be playing the first track until the ads come on, and we'll be with you after these. As I said, you're listening to Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio. That was the track from Road to El Dorado. That was Tu Baba. That was a very underrated DreamWorks film, in my opinion, Road to El Dorado. It was out in the 90s. Great animated film from DreamWorks, back when they used to do 2D animation at the time, if you remember that. Yeah, good times. Anyway, you're listening to the second half of Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio, and I'm here with me today with my very special guest, Gigi Bella. Okay.
Hello again.
Okay, right. So now we are going to talk about some films now, as I was mentioning before, because what I do with my guest every time on Manigan's Movie Music is I like to talk about basically if you have any favourite films, if there's any films you've experienced or anything like that, because it's always nice to hear people's opinions on movies and stuff like that and what you think. So let's jump into the first question is, do you have a top 3 favourite films or anything like that?
Oh, such a difficult question, but I will say that I'm prepared because my brother's boyfriend, John, is a film connoisseur, and this is his favorite question to ask people upon meeting them. So my favorite movie of all time is Selena.
Okay.
Classic Mexican cultural film. J-Lo's Big Break, big deal. That is a movie I firmly believe should have won an Oscar. Like, such an incredible screenplay. Can't recommend. Little Shop of Horrors. Big fan of old school movie musicals, but also they did everything by hand, so they built all that stuff. I think that is so cool and so crazy. And I love Ellen Green, and I grew up with a crumb part of my brain. Third spot, I'm probably going to go with Midsummer. It's a weird list, but I loved Midsummer so much. I
Same.
really like. I thought it was such an amazing way to interpret a, a breakup, count and discard those feelings, and he really like dug in and showed the nitty gritty, like insane parts of what that feels like. So I loved that movie.
Amazing. Yeah, Midsummer. I mean, that was actually my second favorite film of 2019. Actually, funny enough. And like I said, Ari Aster. I mean, the guy's a genius, and he's done every film he's done is amazing. I mean, yeah, we all know about that.
Oh yeah.
In terms of okay, so judging by that list, you definitely have a horror taste. I mean, I'm definitely a horror fan myself, so obviously horror films are always my forte. Is there? Do you? I mean, obviously, when I've seen your stuff as well, you dress up with a lot of horror
Mhm.
characters as well. So, is horror definitely one of your favorite genres as well, or is it just something that you like the look of the characters more and like to dress up like them more?
Um, I do really love horror movies. I That is recent. That's since like 2019. I had a person in my life who was very into horror movies and I was not at all. But something that we would do together is sit and just run through all these movies that I had never seen because I was a big fraidy cat. And I think it really helped me confront my anxiety in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
um, so now I really do have a soft spot for a lot of them. But as far as the costumes, I think the ones that you saw, I do a week of costumes for Halloween every year.
Oh,
And
nice.
this year my week was A24 themed. So I did a lot of horror characters under that theme.
Amazing. Yeah. One of them that I loved, which had to be one of my favorites, was Pearl. Like that was great.
That one was so fun. That was so fun.
Yeah, I mean, you match that one so well. And Pearl was also one of my favourite films to come out in 2023. That was when it came out in the UK. I know it came out in 2022 in America, but we got it back in 2023. In fact, it came out on my birthday, coincidentally. So that was my birthday movie, and I love that when that happens. When there's a film that I really want to see and it comes out on my birthday. And I remember the Batman done it. In fact, because of COVID, the Batman came out in 2022, and it was the first cinema film I saw since after
Yeah.
COVID, because 2019 was I had a cinema film that year, and then 2021, obviously, films didn't get released properly back then. And then when 2022 come along, it was like the Batman comes out in March. I was like, oh, that's my birthday film, and it was so nice to go back to the cinema and go and see my birthday movie, which was the Batman, which also became one of my favorite films of that year. So when Pearl come out the year later, I was like, oh, that's my birthday movie. So that's why. But that was so good. I mean, the that was part of the X trilogy as well, because they did X, then they did Pearl, and then they did Maxine.
Yeah.
They were all brilliant in my opinion, but Pearl
Mm.
definitely was my favorite. I think there was something about Pearl that just felt so much more investing, entertaining. I think it was because it was like an old school film. It felt like it was a movie that was made in the 40s, and it was such a love letter to Wizard of Oz and Mary Poppins and stuff like that. And I love when films do that. I love when they treasure the old vintage style films. It's so nice. That really has a good feel to it. Um, okay, so because of all the costumes you've worn and everything, do you have a particular favourite one that you've made, or dressed up as a certain character that you've gone? That's my highlight.
Um, Good question. I mean, it's been kind of a that also is its own journey, and I started um formally making costumes again to raise money to go to Edinburgh. So I was making costumes for Taylor Swift's Eras tour for girls to like wear to the concert, and I was shipping them all over the world because of her costumes. So I've got a couple of those things that I'm really proud of. Um, this past year, I really loved the A24 week. It was such a joy to cap off the week by dressing up as myself for Halloween. That was very fun. I dressed up as myself in Eddington.
Yeah, I saw the clip.
So that was kind of, not the most intricate costume, but very, very fun. I also did, I think out of the week though, my favorite was dressing up as Zac Efron in Iron Claw. Um, and I gave myself muscles, six pack, some washboard abs. Um, I gave myself a 5 o'clock shadow. It was really just because I was like, man, if I put my hair up, we have the same haircut. And that hurt my feelings a little bit, but also I just had to lean in.
Mm,
It's important.
amazing. Okay, so obviously you said about horror and you talked about your favorite films in general. In terms of like, if you so looking back at all these classic horror films from whenever till now, if you could be in any horror film that or any particular film that was your favorite, which one would it be and why? Not as an extra, like as a character.
In any horror
Yeah.
film, in any film in general. I mean, I would hate to be in a horror film unless I got to die in a really cool way. I really loved the movie Green Room. Name.
Such an underrated
But it was
movie.
so punk rock, and I really loved the like. Yeah, I really loved, when they shredded that guy's arm into noodles. That was cool. Um, so the either Aaliyah Shawkat or Imogen Poots in that movie, like that, I think that would be really, yeah, but I mean, uh, I don't know. I'm like, I would love to be in a Guillermo del Toro movie. Everybody, they was they were such big haters about the Shape of the
Mm.
fish.
Yeah, I mean, I've Del Toro's incredible, and he done Frankenstein, which was one of my favorite films of last year, which I absolutely loved, and that that was just a masterpiece, and I'm glad as well that that had recognition, especially for being a horror film, but it's won awards, and that's what I'm so glad about. That horror is now finally getting recognition, especially from last year, and sorry, the year before in 2024 when The Substance and
Yeah.
Romulus and all that was getting nominated. So finally, at last, they're seeing the talent. Do you
Hmm.
know what though? In terms of your casting, though, I could definitely see you if you was to play characters in film. I could definitely see you in a movie called Strange Darling, which is a film which is very underrated, which I definitely recommend you check out. Very good film. And I can also see you in one of them comedy films where you play one of those hippies who's like going, oh, but if you take this will give you some magical wishes. If you don't take this one, you'll just fall asleep. I can definitely see you doing stuff like that. So I can definitely like seeing the casting side of that. That'd be really awesome. Okay, brilliant. So, if you, but so I mean, you were very lucky to work on Eddington along with A24 and everything. Like they're so great with what they do, and obviously you mentioned Midsummer, which is another A24 film. But do you have an A24 film in general that stands out for you? Because they do some really good ones. I mean, for me, there's so many to pick. But if you could pick like the ones that stick out the most for A24, which one do you reckon it'd be?
Oh. Tough question. I mean, I loved everything everywhere all at once.
Oh, great
Uh,
movie.
that's maybe like kind of a boring answer.
No, no, it's
Because
great.
I know everybody really loved that movie. I'm trying to think, like, thinking back. I really loved Y2K. That was a really underrated one, but I
Yeah,
really
that was
loved
okay.
Y2K.
I wouldn't think it was great.
That
It wasn't as good as
was
I thought it
Kyle
was.
Moon. I think it was like fun in a way that I appreciate, like off the wall goofball fun. Um, but I mean, I love all of Ari's stuff. I
Mm,
also really loved Love Lies Bleeding. That was a
yeah,
good movie.
that's a really good one. Love
Um,
Lies Bleeding was very underrated.
but I mean, if A24, yeah, I mean, anything they make, I'll watch it. I'm there. I mean, they're my employer. So you know,
That's true.
I'm just going to work. I'm just clocking in.
That's true. That's true. That's great. Yeah, and who knows? You might even end up being an extra in another A24 movie. So that you never know where it could lead, and that would be so thrilling if you could. That would probably be the most exciting job you could ever possibly get. That would be amazing. Right. Okay. Right. We're gonna play another track, guys, just so we can have a little breather, and
Yes, call me. Put me in another one.
and we're gonna just update on some movie news as well, because I think there's some movie news I do need to bring up probably later on, because there has also been, speaking of horror, there has been some new horror trailers coming out as well, so we definitely need to talk about the trailers that have been coming out this week and about my enthusiasm about that film. So here's a little track from the movie Sinbad. Anyway, we were listening to Manigan's movie music live on Love the Beat Radio. Me, Reese Manigan, and I had a very special guest today, Gigi Bella, who of course was in the film Eddington. She is part of my Massive March guests, and honestly, I can honestly say she has been absolutely terrific. She's answered questions really well. She's been very open, and it's been such an honour to have her on this show and to be part of Massive March. I'm very honoured she stayed up so late in New Mexico to be part of the show as well. And the fact that she stayed for the full 2 hours shows what incredible sport she is. Because normally when I have American guests, they only want to do half an hour, 45 minutes, but she stayed for the full 2 hours, and I'm so honoured she has. Gigi, let's get your final thoughts. What have you thought about the show and everything? And have you had a really good time? And yeah, what's your final thoughts?
I've had a great time. Thank you so much for having me, Reese. I really enjoyed talking about the film and getting to talk movies with you. And yeah, I really appreciate the space. I also hope to come back and talk to you when my book comes out. I have a book coming out in June with Button Poetry called Without the Frills, that is also about film industry and has some poems from my time on Eddington. We're already scheduling a visit to the UK so I can come and talk to you about some of this stuff in person, which would be
Oh,
amazing.
amazing. Well, if you ever do come to London, you better
Hopefully
call
after the
me.
book comes
Yeah.
out. So yeah, I mean, it was so great. I would love to come back and do it again sometime.
Well, if you want, maybe, who knows, if you're promoting your book and you're going to be talking about it, maybe you could even come on the show and promote that book and, and talk about it and everything like that. That would be amazing. So, yes, you are more than welcome to come to the studio live and talk about that book, talk about Eddington again, your experiences and everything. That would be amazing. So, yes, definitely something for the future, 100%. So there you go, guys. Gigi Bella will be making a pending return in the future. So there you go. So who knows? But Gigi, Yeah, it's been lovely to have you. You've been an amazing guest. Honestly, you've actually been one of my favourite guests on the show. It's been such an honour to have you, to hear your stories about Eddington, Ariasta, your experiences. It's honestly so investing and inspiring, and honestly, it's incredible. So you are definitely welcome to come back anytime, and to, like I said, if you ever come back, if you ever come to the UK, we will definitely make sure you come on this radio show, and you're live in the studio and everything to promote that book, promote anything you're doing, because trust me, we would welcome you here with open arms. So again, thank you so much for your time and everything. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you so much. And thank you to the radio station. And shout out to Michael. And yeah, really, really enjoyed my time.
Amazing. So there you go, guys. That was Gigi Bella, who played a protester in the film Eddington, and she was part 2 of a massive march that is still continuing because, guys, next week, live in the studio, you are not going to believe who I've got next. I know I've probably mentioned it before, but if you've just heard it now, I will be bringing in Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. Mr. Ben Whitehead himself will be coming to the studio to talk to me, and I am super excited for him to come here. I mean, I think of all the guests, along with Gigi, along with Eliane, and along with LMA Demakan, he is going to be one of my biggest guests I've ever had on this show, and it is going to be absolutely insane. So please, guys, tune in next week for that, because it's an exclusive interview. He'll be here live with me in the studio, and I cannot wait to talk to him. It is going to be absolutely amazing. Like I'm so buzzed, and the fact that this March I've had these incredible, wonderful guests this month. I appreciate all of them that have come on, and the fact that I've got these guests and everything, it's been so surreal to me. It really is. Eliane was actually one of my most tuned in show at the moment, so who knows what how many people tuned in for Gigi, and I will find that out hopefully later today. But today has been an absolute amazing show. It's been a great show and so action packed. Definitely one of my favourite shows I've done. And I cannot wait for next week as well. It's going to be insane. So next week is the final part of Massive March, because I will bring Ben Whitehead in. Okay, guys, so if you have tuned in, thank you so much to everybody. And as I say every week, that is a wrap. Tune in next week, guys, for Massive March. Thank you so much. A grand day out by, of course, Wallace and Gromit. Yes, that's right, guys. Wallace and Gromit, that was the clue. Because today, my special guest is none other than the guy who voices the most incredible cartoon character of all time. Now, as you know, the followers of me, you know that Wallace and Gromit is my favourite cartoon of all time. I love it more than Looney Tunes. I love it more than any Disney movie. Like, they are literally the best duo in history of animation. So, as we all know, Peter Sallis was the original voice of Wallace, and unfortunately we lost him 9 years ago now. God, that time has flown. But Wallace is still going. And so with me today is none other than the guy who voices the big cheese himself, no pun intended. Please welcome the very talented, the super, and the iconic and amazing Ben Whitehead.
Oh, hello, Reese. That was a big build-up.
Thank you.
How am I going to live up to that build-up? Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Nice to be here. And sorry about the last time.
Don't apologise.
Well, I shouldn't, because it wasn't my fault.
Exactly.
But I'm just sorry, that people weren't here or whatever else. But I'm here now.
Yes, he's alive, guys. Don't worry. He didn't get taken by Feathers McGraw or anything like that. He's here, guys. Don't worry.
Locked in a cupboard.
Yeah, with the diamond. Ben, it's really amazing to have you on the show. Thank you again so much for doing this. This really is not just a big thing for me, but also for the listeners and everything else, and it's just a huge honour to have you here today. You are literally, microphone's good. You are literally, as I said, the biggest guest I've ever had on the show.
Wow.
And not only that, but the fact you've come into the studio as well is even much better for me and for everybody who's tuned in. It's just such an honour to have you here. It's very surreal for me as well. But as a Wallace and Gromit fanatic, it's going to be. But, you know, the fact that I got to meet you on that tube and say hello, and you said yes to coming on the show, it's really does mean a lot. And so, yeah, just again, I can't thank you enough for doing this.
And listen, it's a pleasure to be here. And I like to get out of the house as well.
As we all do.
Sitting in front of a screen doing a Zoom on this thing. No.
No, that was COVID times. We've gone past it now.
I get to come to Penge as well.
Yes.
Very nice Penge.
Yeah, especially in this weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we've got quite a lot to talk about, of course. I know that we're not just going to be obviously talking about Wallace and Gromit and everything like that. We've got so much stuff we want to talk about. Plus, I know you've got something you want to promote later on as well.
I have. It's not a movie, but, you know, it's
something,
it's
yeah. But let's get down to the very beginning, because obviously what I do on the show is no matter who the person is, what they've done, it's always about their journey, and who they are, what they do, what led them to wanting to do what it is they're doing today, and everything like that. So the first question I've got for you is, have you always wanted to be a voice actor?
Well, no. I mean, I didn't always want to be an actor. Is the truth of it. And I was started out. So I couldn't do much else, to be honest with you. I think when you're young and when you're at school, the bit that I realise, and as I tell young people now, the moment you start giving up your spare time and your after hours school stuff to something, the bit that you do after school, I think is very important, because you're going, right, this is extracurricular now. I am concentrating. I'm giving up my free time when I could be, I don't know, getting into trouble and or playing computer games or whatever. I'm doing this, and I think realising quite late that you know, after school, I didn't do after school drama. There was no drama at my school. It was far too boring. But yeah, there was you know what, they came into school, this theatre company came to the school and said, oh, we need some Montagues and Capulets. We're going to be doing an open air Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. But you'll be trained in stage combat. And all the boys went, yeah, me, you know. I didn't get a part, but I worked as a stage manager on it. And I thought, yeah, this is great. I really enjoy this. I think that was it. I'd done a school play. There's two Lincoln Story series. So he did the school play, and all the boys would usually get picked. The boys and girls would get picked for the play. They didn't want to do it because they were only doing one-off nights. And so, well, I won't do any more than a 3-night run, you know, as a school kid. So all the people like me, then we got a chance to step in, you see. So all of a sudden I found myself acting, and I was like, this is quite good. And I studied up in Liverpool. Didn't do very well in my A-levels, of course, because I'm pretty bad at exams, it has to be said. But
so I'm bad at maths, mate. So
well, I scraped through that one there. But anyway, this is a long way round. But I did get up to Liverpool, and I did a library course up there, which I didn't complete. I switched to drama because I got in a play. I did the drama club, you see, up there, and then I auditioned for a play. And I went to the Fringe, and so I got into the drama, and I studied drama in Liverpool. And you come out of it, and you come out of uni, and you're like, well, what do I do now? It's all of a sudden, and I worked as a little bit in film production as a runner, because I thought I might want to do that. But the first acting job I had was at the Museum of the Moving Image.
Okay.
I was thinking about this because I was on the South Bank. So that really combined my two things, my love of film and getting a chance to sort of play and tell jokes and be silly as well. It was a fantastic job, that. It used to be on the South Bank there, where the BFI is.
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Because it closed 2000, I think. Not long after I sounded like I had a problem with it, handed it closing. No, it was a fantastic job. I really enjoyed it. Working down there on the South Bank as well. But I sort of spent a bit of time, and I worked in, you know, attractions and things like the London Dungeon. That was great fun working there, by the way. I made friends for life down there.
Wow.
We had a real laugh, but it was quite unpleasant working conditions. But the thing I kept thinking was like, I should be a teacher or something. Forgetting my mother's advice when I was young.
Oh, okay.
This is what I said to my mum when I said, maybe I want to be an actor, but it's a bit hard to get work, isn't it? Someone told me it's really hard to get work, which of course it is. And I said, maybe I should be a teacher, or, you know, maybe a doctor or something like that. And, she said, what do you think teachers and doctors do when they finish work? They watch actors. And it sort of validated it. It said, there'll be a job for you, you know? People will always want to watch actors. They want to hear stories. So that was really important. But by the by, I still found myself like thinking, I'll do a teacher training course. And I dropped out of that.
Okay.
It was down in Devon. It was lovely, but it wasn't. And I got a phone call from my friend who'd seen me at a bit of a low ebb, and she said, you know, I got this job with Aardman. She lived in Bristol. She got this job with Aardman Animations, and we're just casting for the Curse of the Were-Rat. We didn't know it was called that at that point. So I'm just reading in lines as they're casting for the characters, because there's loads of characters in this one, unlike the previous Wallace and Gromit
of course,
which would only introduce one or two characters per film. And she said the male voice actor's dropped out.
Oh,
he's not available for whatever reason. I can't remember.
Okay. Can
you get to Bristol in 2 hours and just read some lines?
Ooh.
For Steve Box? And it turned out.
Yeah.
So I went to the big Aztec West studio there, and I'm walking in. I've told this story before, but it's just I walked in and
it's fine. I've never heard this.
They had these chicken heads in cases on the walls because they'd just done the chicken run.
Yeah,
they're all there. This is amazing. and he said, could you just read the lines of Wallace, just because obviously they don't get Peter Sallis in to audition people. And I read them and I said, I could sort of do a voice, like, do you want me to have a go at doing an impression? And he said, sure, why not, mate? And that was it. And I just sort of did it. And he was like, oh, that's pretty good. And so what happened was sort of working on it and reading in whilst they were recording it, and we were reading in for Helena Bonham Carter and Ralph Fiennes, the actors in that. It's me dropping out of a course, and the next day I'm in a room with these two. Yeah. You know what I mean? Going, what's happened to my life? Incredible. It was very exciting. It was an amazing thing to just really fall into in that way. Being in the right place, right time, but also sort of being in the right frame of mind to take it on. So a lucky break, I think, in many ways.
But because also that was the first Wallace and Gromit feature, plus they were still in partnership with DreamWorks at the time. Yeah. So it must have been like, oh my goodness, this is like me taking part in a way of a Hollywood movie, sort of, in a way, So what was the character again that you played in
Mr. Leachin.
Mr. Leachin, that's right.
Yeah, when the sort of crowd scenes, I believe. I don't know, I've not heard myself in it. I've watched it many times. I think that was me. But yeah, I was involved very much with the recording of it that we did. So I got to meet, honestly, it was so exciting, and it's Aardman. And you see, the thing is, Reese, you see these people coming into audition, and I learned it back then, and these are big names coming in, and they want that job, because it's Aardman,
of course,
and they love it, and their kids love it.
Because funny enough, there's a documentary called Aardman, a Grand Day In or Grand Night In, that came out.
The anniversary.
I think it was 2015, and I remember Martin Freeman, because he was in Pirates, he said, no, Aardman don't beg actors. We beg them to be in the film.
Absolutely.
And I remember Hugh Grant as well, because he's a very fussy actor with his scripts. He said he was throwing away all these scripts, don't want to do this. But as soon as he saw Aardman on one of the scripts, he went, "Oh, I'm doing this."
I'm telling you. I think that was the turning point in Hugh Grant's career. I think since Pirates, this man's just gone on to prove his comedy chops. Yeah, because he's a very funny man and a very nice man to work with as well. I have to say.
And also, he's got horror chops just recently for Heretic.
I didn't mind that, I thought that was all right. I thought he was good in it.
He was really
good. A lot of horror films. Sort of, for me, it sort of unravels a bit in the last 10 minutes, which happens quite a lot. But I kept me going.
But I got so invested with Hugh Grant talking about iterations for the entire film. Yeah. I honestly wouldn't have minded if it was Hugh Grant talking about iterations for an hour and a half, because I got so invested in that scene. Yeah. That's literally my favourite entire scene of the film. Yeah. And then as soon as it stops, I'm like, I was enjoying that. Yeah. I honestly was getting so invested in the whole, this is iteration, and all this. I was like, this is so investing. Yeah. I could literally just watch him for an hour and a half. And then that would be the movie. I'd be like, that was really good. Honestly, I love that part. Right, so obviously, so as you said, your first Aardman star was Curse of the Were-Rabbit. So what I'm really more interested to know is because I know you said you did some Wallace impressions to read the lines. Yeah. But when was the time where they looked at you or said to you, could you possibly do Wallace in the video games and stuff like that? So what was the starting point of that?
The first one was the video games. The Grand Adventures. There were 4 games back to back.
I've actually played the Bumblebee one.
The Fright of the Bumblebees. Yeah. I have not played any of them because I don't have a PC. So I've never played any of them. But that was a very intense job. I've never worked like that since. The amount of lines we hammered out on those recordings.
Yeah.
And I remember working with Peter Salas. I remember him talking about video games and what, like he wasn't a fan of doing them.
No.
So I did think, right, okay, well, this is like you get this job, and I was so grateful for it. But like the level of graft on it was unlike anything I've done since. I say graft, I'm not breaking my back down a mine or anything, but you can't. You there's only so much you can put on the voice anyway. But that was the first one, and they went down very well. I found out years after that I won an award for that. No one told me.
Oh, congratulations!
They said about games stooge or something like that. It was. I thought I won an award and I didn't even know about it. But it's always right. And I thought, right, who was I up against? Right, that was the thing. Mark Hamill. As a Joker, and I thought,
my goodness,
I just beat Luke Skywalker.
So
that was it. I was like, come on.
There you go.
But yeah, I did. There wasn't a ceremony, and I didn't know about it till years after.
Oh.
And I think it's to date the only award I've ever won. So.
Oh, okay. All right. That's well. Congratulations either way. At least you can say I beat Mark Hamill. I beat the Joker. Screw Batman. Wallace beat him. Because do you know what's so funny when you say about doing the video game stuff? The first time I remember discovering a change in Wallace's voice, there was an advert about the IPO or something like that. It was a science competition or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
It came out not long after A Matter of Life and Death.
Yeah.
And I remember what happened was, because I remember this so well, because I was 17 at the time, and I was following Wallace and Gromit so much and everything, and there was a trailer, a clip of it, and people were commenting on YouTube, does Wallace doesn't sound a little bit like what? Is he okay and stuff like that? And I know there was some bits like that, but I didn't actually notice it. I was like, I was like, it does sound a tiny bit deeper, but I think it's. And then when I did my research, and I was like, oh, they've got a new actor. I was like, that's great. And I said, you know what? I actually didn't know the difference, but that was the first time I discovered there was a hint of the voice, if that makes sense, But honestly, I didn't see much of a difference. I was quite impressed.
I would have seen this role very much as an understudy, as you would in the theatre, and that's what I think was kind of the word that was used to describe what I did. I was Peter Salas's understudy, and it was a very good job to understudy for. I remember doing that one, and I think that it was a science museum. It was in conjunction with a science museum, and I think it was the first time I worked with Merlin. So I worked with Merlin Crossing a lot on the projects over the years until Nick came back and started working on Wallace and Gromit again. And that was the first one. I listened to that recently. Oh, good God! I mean, I don't sound good on that one. I've listened to that and gone like that. I've got a lot of work to do, and I think it was probably at that point they said. They did take me aside and said, we are going to see other people for this role. And I thought, well, that's that. It's fun while it lasted. Please keep a number because, I like working with you. And, they came back to me sometime after and said, oh, I think we're going to stick with you. Good. So, that obviously made me feel good about things.
No, do you know?
I've always seen this, Reese, by the way.
Yeah.
This is just a set on point.
Yeah.
The pressure of doing this job.
Yeah,
because there would be a lot of pressure if I actually stopped to think about it. And when we made the feature film, I did. I've always looked at it professionally as I'm working with Aardman.
Yeah.
And that's what I say to people now. So what do you do? I'm a voice actor.
Yeah.
What do you do as a voice actor? Oh, I work in animation. What do you do as a I work with Aardman. Oh, like Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And if they say, well, what do you do with Wallace and Gromit? I tell them and they go, what? No way. But up to that point, it's always like I work with Aardman, and everyone goes, "Oh no, they're brilliant,"
They are,
and that's the way I look at it. And it takes the pressure off you a little bit, but you go, "Well, no, this is a company you want to keep working with."
Exactly.
They're
and
best.
Also, this is what I was saying as well. I mean, by the way, your performance in Vengeance Most Foul was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Honestly, I honestly don't see much of a difference between you. But like I keep saying to people or anybody, you're not trying to be Peter Salas, you're being Wallace. There's a difference because Peter Salas isn't Wallace and Wallace isn't Peter Salas. You are being that character. So sometimes when I see some, because there are people out there who like to cause an argument.
Yeah.
So they'll say, oh, it's not Peter Salis. I go, yeah, he's not being Peter Salis, he's being Wallace. Why don't you try and listen for once?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I do defend you.
Thank you.
And, absolutely, because I loved your performance in Vengeance Most Foul.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was like, this guy just nailed it so well. And I was watching so much behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I watched your interviews, and I was commenting on YouTube going, this man deserves to be nominated and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I said, he's filling some big shoes. So I was literally praising and defending you on YouTube, on social media.
Whoa,
and
thank
literally,
you.
I just went for your rescue in a way. And I was like, these idiots obviously are deaf then if they're not listening to what he's trying to do.
Right.
I was like, he's being Wallace, he's not trying to be Peter Salis. What are they going to do? Do a Last of the Summer Wine and just put him on there? Say, can you do Peter Salis as well as Norman Clegg?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I literally, no, I seriously, I defended you to the death about that. And I was like, he's got it. So do you know what? This story is so incredible that you got the role and they went for you in the end. Did you happen to, when you met Peter Salis and everything, when you did the impression and stuff, did he give you any notes about
No.
it?
That wasn't something I did. I think because I was filling in for him when we were running. So we never worked together on me doing Wallace.
Okay.
And that was out of respect as
Yeah,
well.
of
Because
course.
you know someone. I'm sitting here now, and if people are saying, "Oh, he's not very good," I know certainly well. There's someone out there who's going, "I can probably do it better than him." You know what I mean? So there's always someone else there. But after a certain time, you can't do it anymore. Peter Salis, his voice, as far as I know, it never failed him. He always sounded absolutely fantastic. But
Very iconic.
Well, exactly. But unfortunately, vision-wise, it was very difficult for him.
Yeah, of course.
Because he suffered from macular degeneration, so
Yeah.
it's so difficult to even
Bless
see the
him.
script. And that was when I met him, and it was 83. That he was 83 years old when we were working on Were Rabbit. I'm not still going to be alive. What am I to do, let alone working? You know what I mean? There's no way I'm going to make it that long. But yeah, it was a real pleasure working with the man. I have to say, he was a very funny man. So I was reading. So basically, this is the situation. We're in the recording studio. I'm reading in for Ray Fiennes. Yeah. And he's doing Wallace, and I'm recording him. So I'm bashing the mic here. That's the first time I met him. He came in and they said, we've got to tell you, Peter's got a very dry sense of humour. But basically, he's really funny, essentially. Yeah. And he just came in and he sort of clocked us, and then he started tapping his cane like he couldn't see. And he was playing. And he said, "Are you Ray Fiennes?" And I said, "Yes." Which confused him, and then Brother jumped in with, "No, this is Ben who will be reading about Ray Fiennes." I just thought, well, how often am I going to get to be Ray Fiennes? I'll take that. I'll be Ray Fiennes for a second. But yeah, it was a real pleasure. That's incredible. He was a very funny man, very dry, very honest, and yeah, like I said, one of the many people that I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with. I'm gushing like a proper lovely when I talk about it, but I'm an actor. What can I do?
Absolutely.
I'm genuinely am very happy to be in this profession.
Exactly, and I'm also very happy to know that I've met one of the Wallaces at least, because I always wanted to meet Peter Salis, but I never got my chance. But so the fact that I got to meet you after is just as good.
We should talk about this at some point. Our chance meeting, I think as much as fun as it is talking about Wallace, and I could talk about it for a long time, and I have. I think there's definitely something we need to talk to the listeners about.
Yeah, absolutely.
The London Overground.
Yeah, so
Windrush Line.
So I'll tell you guys how me and Ben. I mean, I think my friends are listening anyway, but I'll tell the people who don't know. So basically, me and Ben met on the internet. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, so what happened was I was actually generating. Don't tell them the real truth. No, I'm joking. So what happened was I just did a normal radio show. I didn't have a guest or anything on that day. I came in, I'd done a normal show. It was, and did what I needed to do. And I was meeting up with another radio presenter. I'll shout out to her, Sabrina Spencer. By the way, follow her. She's amazing. And we were talking about collaborating on some stuff and everything, because I do the filming and everything. She was like, "Oh, can you film one of my shows?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I didn't come home at my normal train and everything. So by chance, which is just amazing, I got on this carriage, on this particular train, and who sits opposite me but none other than Mr. Ben Whitehead.
There we go.
But what was fun, the only reason I didn't quite recognise you at first is because I think you had a haircut. Because when I saw you in an interview, you had more hair. And
It's going, Reece.
So, but that's how I did. But then I looked and I was like, and then luckily I did recognise your face, and I thought, oh, so that's why I just went, hi, sorry. You are Ben, aren't you? Ben White. He was like, yeah. I was like, do you mind if I just come and say hello to you? And you were like, yeah, feel free. And then, yeah.
I have to say at this point, see, this doesn't happen to me very often.
No.
This has happened to me twice, maybe 3 times, that people have said, excuse me, you're the fella who does the voice of voice. And I was on the, everyone said, I was away the other week. I said, oh, you're on the radio. They're talking about you on radio too. And it was Sarah Cox, and she was basically saying, oh yeah, because he doesn't do anything else, does he? So you wouldn't know who he was. But what a legend, you know. I was like, yeah, that's kind of makes me feel good. but it's true. It does. It's amazing being, you know, voicing this iconic figure. And Wallace, he's everywhere. You know, you see him everywhere. He's beloved, but I can walk around usually and sit on a train and get angry and do what everyone else does.
Exactly.
Without everyone going, oh, look at it, it's him, you know, him off the telly or whatever.
Well, it's a good thing I know my films and media and stuff, isn't it? Well, that's how much of a film buff I was. As soon as I saw you, I was like, but honestly, if I didn't say hello to you on that tube, I knew it was you, I would have been banging my head every day. I'd have been like, why didn't I get my chance? Because I am an opportunist, and look, you only live once, right? Sometimes you're never going to get any experiences when you can. So for me, it's going out there, just meeting that person, seeing what they're like, saying hello to them. If that person's like, look, sorry, mate, I don't want to know, see you, I'll go, okay, fine, I'll walk away. But the fact you let me sit next to you and we were just having a normal conversation, because look, it was lovely to meet you and everything. And I was a little bit shocked to see you, but I wasn't going to be like, oh, I love you so much, like normal fans do. Look, I'm very approachable with people as normal people, because you're a human being, I'm a human being. I'm not going to jump on you and say, can you autograph? Oh, sorry. Can you sign this? Can you autograph
with your microphone here.
I don't run the microphone.
It's got the droop.
I wasn't going to say, can you sign this? Can you do that? No, none of that. I am a professional person when it comes to like. I thought, look, I want to ask you about my radio show. Is there an opportunity? You might say yes, whatever. If you'd have said, look, sorry, mate, I can't do it, whatever, I would have said, you know what? It's fine. I asked. It's all signed. Because the worst thing you could say is, no, thank you. That's fine.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to lie. When he said, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I'm not going to lie. I did think you was joking.
No, not at all, man. No. Well, I love radio, you know. I love radio. It's a great thing to do, and I probably talk too much, but, you know, it's useful, I suppose, on the radio.
The good thing about this show is you can talk as long as you want. As long as we get to pay the ads, it's fine. Honestly, meeting you on that day, it was my adrenaline was like so up and everything, and I was like, this is going to be amazing. And you came at the right time. Like I said, I just interviewed another bunch of people who've been in some big films, and what makes it so lovely is nowadays when you meet some people, you will say to them, oh, you know, can you do an interview? And there are some that are like, no, I'm too important for that, and they get really like basically you're there
too busy. It's too busy.
Well, busy, yeah. Sometimes they say that, and then they're in LA at a spa. But what's
important
really...
work being in LA at a spa. Let me say.
Yeah,
it's what keeps the business going.
But what's really lovely is the fact that when you do meet one of your idols, and they say, yes, I'm happy to, you know, me and do this, it honestly to me is a huge honour, and it's a respect, and it's lovely to know that there are people out there who don't put their egos aside or think they're too important. It's like, yes, I would love to come and be part of this, not because obviously the show we're doing, yes, we are promoting you, but at the same time you're helping me build up my show, and at the same time you're also giving me the entertainment for the listeners who want to tune in and listen to you. Because when I mentioned straight away that you were going to come on, the response, I'm not gonna lie, big, massive response. Oh my God, how? What happened? Literally, how did you get him? Yeah, I was literally bombarded with so many questions. I was like, guys, I just met him on the tube. I asked him, he said, yes, chill. It's not like we went out for dinner. I said, by the way, I have this radio show, sir. And like it was a big important steak dinner, and we had wine and candles and everything. It was literally just a nice meeting. But honestly, it means a lot that you are here, and it's incredible. And the fact, and your stories about the whole thing is really investing.
Well, you reminded me another one, because you said you would have kicked yourself if you hadn't said, oh, I'm very approachable, and like, you know, it's public transport. You're allowed to sit where you want, you know. Because this is
just not on my lap.
This entire row, 8 Oyster cards through the machine there. I was at Amersham Station, just where I grew up, Amersham. I was back there on Simon. Gabriel Byrne was on the Purple. You know Gabriel Byrne.
Ooh.
And he's a good actor. He's great, Gabriel Byrne, I have to say. And I just saw him and I sort of like, gave him a nod, raised my eyebrows, and he sort of pulled a slightly funny face. And I thought, there's no way I can go up and talk to Gabriel Byrne at Amersham Station. I just texted my brothers and sisters, go, Gabriel Byrne's at Amersham Station. This is Gabriel Byrne. He's at Amersham Station. What's he doing? Why is he in Amersham? I don't know. Maybe he lives here now. But yeah, I have to pluck up a lot of courage to someone outside of a working environment.
Yeah,
working is fine.
Absolutely.
But other than I did. It brings us on to the Academy Awards. I told this story before, but we went to the Academy Awards last year, and I was there with Lauren Patel.
Oh, I'd love to
plays
interview her
Michael
as
G.
well if I got the chance.
She's fantastic. She's so lovely. And have you seen the Small Profits? What's it
Yeah.
called? Yeah, Small Profits.
Yeah, she's so good.
I've only watched episode 1. That's so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wait. I kind of try and watch TV, like episode like once a week or what, you know what I mean? Like rather than binging it. It's brilliant. Anyway, just to track, it's like, anyway, we're there going, where are the famous people? We're at the Oscars, where are the famous people? Willem Dafoe's behind you, and I was like, oh my God. I love Willem. And they're like pushing me towards me, go on, speak to him. And, Merlin gave me the little Wallace puppet there, with his little thing on his head, because he'll know who you are now. And I was like, oh, Mr. Defoe. I was so nervous.
Wow.
I had nothing to say to him other than, I'm a big fan of yours. He's
That's
like,
amazing.
oh, okay, thank you very much. And his man was like, come this way now, Mr. Defoe. We're going to get you away from this way.
That's
but it was good. We were hanging around with the with the animation guys, and with the winner Gents as well. Who directed Flo. Have you seen Flo?
Yes.
I only watched it for the first time very recently.
It made my wife cry
it's a really
last year.
good
It's a
film,
really
isn't
good
it?
film. But yeah, my wife was crying. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because of a certain character that goes up in the sky.
Oh yeah.
She got really upset.
Oh,
but
that's good.
it's beautiful. And do you know what? That film did deserve to win, because the fact that guy, this is what I'm saying, what filmmakers do to really push themselves. He made it out of this free software.
Yeah.
It took him about maybe 5 years, I think he was making it.
Yeah.
And his efforts paid off.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, that sort of thing just blows my mind. I love it. It's just, that's what I always root for. I mean, I'm glad Wallace and Gromit got nominated. Well done to them. But Flo did kind of deserve it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I say, I think it was we'd had our moment at the BAFTA Awards.
Yeah.
Of course, the month before there were two BAFTA wins and a third nomination. You see, we were sitting there. We won 2, but I'm saying we. Yeah, I'm saying we. I was part of that film.
Yeah.
And we won 2 because they put the new award in there. And we're still up for outstanding. We said we could actually win it. That would have been a big ask, but it was so exciting watching it. Whereas the Oscars, I have to say, was like we're second on. It's like you're not up for anything else. Just sit there and watch the show. We're like, okay.
Yeah. At least we're sitting next to the celebrity there.
Oh no, I was up in the gods. I was not down in the celebrity land.
Oh,
Which was
fair enough.
No, that was fine because you could go and take a break every now and then.
Yeah,
So let's not talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
I just sound like I'm showing off.
And next week, excellent.
It was amazing to be there. I'm very grateful.
Yeah,
to have
absolutely.
Gone. And what I'll say, once in a lifetime opportunity. No, there's gonna be more, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. And I really hope, I mean, you don't have to tell me or anything, but I really do hope Nick Park is planning another Wallace and Gromit.
I wouldn't tell you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't hold your breath. What can I say?
Oh, okay. No.
There isn't at the moment.
Okay. So you can confirm there's nothing planned at the moment.
I'm not saying it.
Oh, stop messing with my head.
Listen. I'm sure there'll be stuff coming up.
Oh yeah.
As far as feature films are concerned, no, I think they
Oh
probably.
no. I mean, like short or like either. It's fine. I mean, I think we do need to find out though if Feathers is still out there. There has to be. There has to be like a trilogy, the Wrong Trousers trilogy. They should call it.
Yeah. There you go.
But do you know what? He's still just very quickly before we'll play a track soon because I think we do need to have a little break. But what I was just going to say is Feathers McGraw, in my opinion, is the best animated villain of all time.
Wow.
He is, because I've never loved a villain more than him. Because we've got Scar from Lion King, we have Jafar, and we've got other animated villains. But honestly, Feathers McGraw outwits all of them. I'm sorry, but he's just my favourite villain. And even though he's so dastardly, he's so likable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so entertaining. And honestly, I wouldn't mind. I don't know if they would ever do one, but this is just to throw an idea. If they did like a Feathers McGraw spin-off, maybe.
What about shorts? Feathers McGraw.
Yeah.
Feathers shorts.
Yeah.
And he could be. I'm giving an idea away now. Get writing, guys.
Yeah, come on, guys.
But you have Feathers McGraw shorts, maybe of him sort of pulling off various heists around the world. Maybe, but with an arch nemesis who's even more evil.
A puffin.
Yeah, there you go. Someone who eats penguins, maybe, you know, like
so like a bald eagle or
killer
something.
whale,
Yeah,
or something like that. Anyway, could
Feathers
always be
McGraw's
something.
Arctic Adventures.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Listen, look at us coming.
I know. Right. I'll send a letter to Aardman and I'll say, right, I've just got this little idea. I'll write a script.
It's a script, though.
Yeah, and it's a silent movie because obviously killer whales and penguins don't talk in Aardman World. So that would be brilliant. It could be narrated by Morgan Freeman.
I'm saying this thinking, I wonder if they're working on this. They're going to like that.
Yeah. How do we know Nick Park isn't listening going, write this down?
No, they might be well ahead of us, you never know. The other thing, of course, is Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking of spin-offs.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan. Again, sort of, the silent character of Feathers there. The silent comedy of Shaun the Sheep, I think, is one of
my
the
wife and me are such huge fans.
The feature film, the first feature film, I think is one of the
and I tell you what, Farmageddon actually surprised me.
It's really good at Farmageddon.
I mean, every Shaun the Sheep is brilliant, don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm so addicted, I do watch them now and again a lot, I do love them, but what I will say is when I saw the first Shaun the Sheep movie, I was a bit like, can they pull this off? Because I know, when you have so many episodes that have a story, it's like, what's the story going to be with a feature film? It's like The Simpsons and stuff like that. Because if you do so many episodes, where's the story going to go? But then they pulled it off with the first film. I was so surprised. I loved it. And then when they just said they were going to do a sequel called Farmageddon, I was like, they've already done Aliens. Is this going to work? Like, they have to come up with a really good story because they have done Aliens in the episodes. I think they've done about 4 or 5 episodes involving Aliens. But I'm not going to lie. When I saw Farmageddon, because me and my wife went exactly on Halloween in 2019, I do remember the exact day, and we've watched it, and honestly, it surprised me so much. And do you know what I love most of all is the Space Odyssey references, because I was watching, I was going, Space Odyssey, yes, like there were so many. And my wife, when she was watching it, she actually went to me, I need to watch Space Odyssey now because of all these references you keep going. So I went, all right, I'll show you the film. I said, but you might fall asleep, because my wife is very decisive with films, as not like me. With me, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that.
How did she take it?
She actually loved it. She loved Space Odyssey. And then what was even more amazing was not long after she saw it, maybe a few months later, all of a sudden it was coming out in IMAX on BFI. And my wife went, we are booking to go and see that film. I went, oh, okay, fine. So it was her idea. She was like, we're going to go see that film on the big screen because I want to go see it. I was like, okay. So I booked it and we watched it on the IMAX because it is an IMAX film. You do need, and what was so beautiful, most beautiful cinema moment of my life, I saw it. The cinema was booked. We watched it on the big screen, and what was the most beautiful part is when the credits rolled up, everyone applauded. It was so beautiful, and this was just after COVID, so it was like, oh, we're all sort of back together, sort of thing. Like it's like we're all enjoying our life again. It was like a new era began. You know what I mean? And so it was a really beautiful moment.
And that's a film that's been shown for 50 years, right? Since 1970s.
Yeah, it's nearly 60 now. Yeah.
So they're still applauding a film. Showing it there. Did you introduce? Did you introduce? Like you're the film gonna say that. I think Madame would like this film.
Yeah, she loved this movie.
Did you get into any other Kubrick movies there as well?
Oh well, she loves The Shining because she's a horror fan. Yeah, I mean that's my favourite movie of all time.
Is it?
Yeah. Clockwork Orange, I did show. She's not a huge fan of it, but she does like it, but she's a bit meh with it.
Yeah.
I think there are some bits she doesn't like, some bits she does. Yeah, but that's my second favourite movie of all time. Wow. I did try to show her Eyes Wide Shut, but she wasn't too interested in that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah. I didn't see that till very late on.
I do like it. Do you know what? When I actually first watched it, I actually hated that film. Because I just watched it and was like, I don't know what the hell that was. But then, what's so interesting about Kubrick films, he does do this. So let's say, for example, you watch a Kubrick film, Space Odyssey, Barry Lyndon, whatever. There might be a first chance you watch and go, what the hell was that? That was awful. But then, when it comes on again, you're like, I watched it, I didn't like it, but I want to watch it again. It's really weird. Like when it came on again, I was like, I want to watch that again. For some reason, I want to watch it. I don't know why. I hated that film, but I want to watch it again. so I put it on again, and next thing you know, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as the first time I watched it. It was pretty entertaining. Then maybe it came on again. Watched it maybe the third or fourth time, and all of a sudden, I now look at it as a bizarre masterpiece. You know what I mean? Because there is so much stuff in that film that just invests me. It's the storyline, the locations, the cinematography, the suspense. Like, there is a bit of horror in it as well. If you think about
very
it.
light. So which one are you talking?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, Eyes Wide Shut. Sorry,
Yeah, so because there is a bit of horror in it, especially
very much so.
the scenes with the masks
Society.
and the red cloak's like, please come forward, and you're just like, because I remember when I first watched it, I was like, something's going to happen here. So like, it really does get your heart going,
but very believable as well.
But The Shining is my favourite of all the Kubrick films. I mean, that movie inspired me more into my filmmaking journey. You know,
I went to an exhibition they had on. It must have been 6 years ago. No, 2019. They had a Kubrick exhibition at the Design
I went
Museum.
there.
That's the best exhibition.
It was the best. Absolutely.
Just the amount of work, the amount of research, and he spent almost 5 odd years researching a Napoleon film, which never got made.
Oh, saying about that, I did meet Stanley Kubrick's brother-in-law, Jean Harlan, at the Shining. Yeah, we met on the internet again. No, no. He was at the. I met him at the Shining 45th anniversary screening at the BFI IMAX, and when I found out he was going to do the Q&A and everything, I was like, I am going to that, and I booked it off work and everything. I was like, I'm going to this, and I met him, and do you know what? He's such a lovely guy. I mean, bless him. He's so old now. Like he can't walk much, but he was so lovely. I come up to him. I said, you know, thank you for producing the best movies of all time, The Shining, Clockwork Orange, and everything. And do you know what he said to me? He took my hand and goes, so you like Clockwork Orange and The Shining? I was like, yeah. He went, then you have a horrible film taste. And I was like, sorry, mate. And then I took my photo with him. Yeah. He was so lovely. But his daughter was a little bit of a mixed bag, Catherine Kubrick. I don't know if it's because she didn't like being approached or so, but I just went up to her and said, oh, hello, Catherine. And she was like, hello. And I said, just want to know, I'm a big admirer of your dad. You know, these films inspire me and everything. She was like, oh, that's good. And I was like, do you mind if I just get a quick photo? And she rolled her eyes a little bit and was like, yeah, go on then. And I thought, oh, okay. But I took the photo and she did the picture. And as I turned around to say thank you, she just marched away. And I was like, oh, okay. And then in my head I went, she takes after her dad then.
What do we do when you see someone? This is a thought now. It's like going, I need to say something. I'm a huge admirer of your work. I love what you do, but I need to say something other than I'm a big admirer of your work and can I have a selfie? It's like, what? It's almost like you need an in. I did a Comic-Con recently. And I'm used to this game. And they had 4 Doctor Who's there.
As they do.
Well, one particularly I wanted to talk to was Paul McGann, because I'm a huge, With Nail and I is my favourite movie of all time. And I thought, I've got to talk. But I thought, no, I can't. I'm not backstage, you know, I'm working. I could just talk anything. But I said, I've been listening to his podcast. You see, does he reads it? I should say, I don't think he writes it, but the Real Dictators and things like this, the history, short history of podcasts, and that was my sort of way into it. You know, saying, I'm really enjoying these. There was something I'd seen him in a play in Greenwich as well a couple of years back, Jez Butterworth play. But that was basically me just getting there. I just want to talk to you, fanboy, about With Nail and I, and I know the area up there where they made it. That was what it was. But I thought I need something to start off. Going, I'm a huge fan of With Nail and I. Tell me all of it. You know what I mean? Like, But the things you get him on it, and he's like, he wants to talk about it as well. You know, and he was saying, and the main thing about the film was that the director never really made anything out of it. You know, and you can see it sort of bothers him. They put a lot of work into it, and then all of a sudden it's like 40th anniversary of With Nail and I.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, well, finally, he might be getting some recompense for all the hard work they put into that film. Brilliant film. Are you a fan? Not everyone is.
Of what was
With Nail and I? You seen it?
I don't think I've seen it.
You're going for a treat.
Okay, well, I'll definitely keep an eye out.
There'll be some screenings this year because it's 40 years on.
Amazing. Well, then I'll try and keep an eye out. Just quickly, guys, I forgot to mention, if you've got a question for Ben, please go on the live chat and feel free to send a message, or Puyin send a message. Hi, big hugs and a huge fan. Love from Puyin. Yeah, there you go. So you got a fan there.
April, yeah.
Is she still online? I don't know if she is. I know my wife is listening because she's right there.
Who's that?
So that's Carice. It's Karen and Reese.
I was going to say, is she called Carice and you're called Reese? Hi, Karen.
Yeah.
Sorry not to meet you.
Yeah, there you go. You got a shout out. But yeah, if you've got a question for Ben, it doesn't have to be about Wallace and Gromit. If it's about acting or anything else, please feel free to go on the Minute Chat. That's MINNIT.chat. And please feel free to send a message. If you have a message for him, feel free. Right, we probably should take a little break now because we've got to do the ads in 10 minutes. And also we've got a lot to talk about, some horror films, because I need to review The Mummy, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, very soon. So we'll play a couple of tracks and then we'll jump out after, guys. So please stay tuned because we've got more coming up. So the next track I'm going to play is a very another Aardman track. This is a little track from the classic movie Chicken Run. We'll be back after this. That was Cat Bus from My Neighbor Totoro. That was not an Aardman film this time. But yes, I now finally played another track. You're listening to the second half now. Manigan's Movie Music with me, Rhys Manigan, and my very, very special guest today, Ben Whitehead.
Hello again.
Yes, he's still here, don't worry. Feathers still has not kidnapped him. Right, so first of all, Ben, now it's the second half of the show. Just a quick ask. How are you enjoying the show so far?
I'm very much enjoying it. The time has flown by. Is it 10 past?
It is
already.
Yeah,
look at that.
It does go really quick, especially when you're having fun, and that's what I always do. I always say to people, this show should be a bit longer. Hopefully one day the show will be a 4-hour show. That'd be awesome, because I could honestly do this so much. I love it.
We were talking about fans earlier on there. You mentioned Totoro there, and he's a fan, you know, Miyazaki.
Yeah.
You go to Aardman, they've got fan mail up on the wall of the canteen, the staff canteen of the big studio, from Matt Groening and Miyazaki.
Yeah, Matt Groening.
I
was telling the story about Matt, wasn't I? About the documentary he said about to Nick, David, and Peter. Or sorry, he said, "What's it like working with Jeffrey Katzenberg?" And they went, "Oh, he's great genius." Or that. Then someone come in and said, "We got Jeffrey on the line." They went, "We're not in." In front of Matt, and Matt was like, "Oh." Because apparently Nick Park said, I think he was joking, but he said working with Jeffrey Katzenberg was like working with Mrs. Tweedy. She'd open this roof and they'd all be messing about. I can actually believe that, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, right, so we're going to try and move on a little bit from the Wallace and Gromit stuff now, because we want to jump into the horror stuff.
Okay.
Because I know that
you've got a review to do.
Well,
you've got
true,
work to do here.
But also I do have some horror film news I want to bring up as well. Please. You can also feel free to jump in as well about your opinions as well, because that's what I love to get from the guests. So in case you probably haven't seen some of the trailer stuff, it's all good. This is just my opinions on bits. The first thing I want to talk about, which is a really big bit of movie news. So Alex Garland, the director of Ex Machina, Annihilation, Men, Civil War, Devs, who, by the way, is my 5th favourite director of all time.
Right, okay.
He's got a new film coming out in 2028 called Elden Ring, which is based on a game. And they've just mentioned the cast of who's going to be in it, and the cast is big. So you've got Kit Connor, Ben Whishaw, Kelly Spinelli, who he's worked with on Devs, and he worked with on Civil War, which also, by the way, she just recently done Beef season 2, which is so good. She is a rising star. Like, she was also an Alien Romulus and everything. She is going to be making it big. Seriously, she is such a superb actress.
Oh, good.
In fact, in Devs, she played a boy, which really surprised me, because I remember watching Devs. I was like, that young kid's a good actor. I was just looking, and it turns out it's not a kid. She's a 25-year-old actress, and I was like, she's incredible, and now it proves it. And if you watch Alien Romulus and Beef 2, she is just literally becoming a rising star. So the fact Alex has brought her back in knows that she's going to do a really good job. Yeah. We've also got Tom Burke, I don't know if I pronounced his name right, Havana Rose Louis, I believe, or Lou. I'm not very good at pronouncing too many names.
Havana Rose Louis.
Yeah, there you go. Jonathan Price. Nick Offerman's going to be in it. He's a good actor. In fact, Alex also worked with him on Devs as well. Yeah, it's a really good cast. But they're going to be in the new movie Elden Ring, which is based on a game. Now, just so you know, I'm not really a gamer. I'm more of a filmmaker. But I do know that if Alex Garland is going to be directing it, plus it's going to come out in the IMAX, then this movie is going to be gold. Because every movie Alex has made has been, great stuff.
Did he write the 28 Years Later movie? Did he write?
He wrote 28 Years Later. No, sorry, 28 Days, 28 Years, and the recent one, 28 Years Bone Temple. But he was also a producer.
Okay. I remember reading The Beach because he wrote The Beach.
Oh yeah, in fact, he wrote the book.
Tesseract.
And then they approached him and said, "Oh, your book was brilliant. Do you think you could write the script?" He wrote the script for The Beach, and then that's when his career kind of kicked off.
Yeah, it was a good story, The Beach.
It was a really good film. Very. I remember Ewan McGregor was meant to be the lead role in that.
Was he?
Yeah.
I would have thought that when you read the book, the character's kind of weird. He's a little bit of in his own head.
Because he's from the director of Train Squad as well, Danny Boyle.
Guy, yeah. And it's like, I didn't see DiCaprio as that same guy. Maybe Ewan McGregor. He did a good job. But the book itself, I think it's just a great story. And I think I read it at that time when I was abroad as well, and I wasn't out in Thailand on a beach or anything.
And you happen to just read the Beach book. Okay, guys, so that's a bit of I'm really excited about that because obviously, like I said, Alex Garland is a huge. He's like one of my idols, so I'm really excited about that. Oh, we got a couple of shout outs. Hi from Dylan and Lama, who are listening on the show. They're saying great stuff.
Where are they from?
They are from Bedford Street, which is in London. They run Also Coffee, so they're listening today. So thank you guys.
Hello, Dylan.
Appreciate that.
Hello, Lama.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's always nice to get some messages. Don't forget, guys, if you want to send a message or a question, go on the live chat. Please do. We want to hear from you. Right, this one I really need to talk about. So there's a trailer that came out, and it's based on the Hungry Hippos game. And it's
yes,
and it's literally called Hungry. And it is a hippo horror film. And I've seen the trailer, and to be honest, I'm quite surprised with it because luckily it's not Sharknado looking. It's more sort of a bit more expensive than that, but not as expensive. I tell you what, when I watched the trailer, it reminded me a lot of the movie Rogue with the crocodile. It has that sort of vibes. They're stuck in the middle of the river, and obviously the hippos are in the water, and obviously they've got to find a way to get out. But it does actually look fun. I'm not gonna lie.
They did Battleship, didn't they? With Liam Neeson, they did a big game of the Battleship. They did a movie of it, right? I never watched it, but I think. Were sea monsters or aliens involved? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they ended up doing the coordinate thing. So
it was absolutely
Mousetrap or something.
Yeah. So it says here after decades of shark movies, croc movies, snake movies, spider movies, monkey movies, lion movies, dinosaur movies, bird movies, grizzly bear movies, it's nice to see hippos finally get some action.
They're quite dangerous, hippos, aren't they?
Oh, they're the most dangerous animals in Africa. They kill more humans than lions.
Wow.
They're on record.
Think, what a cute little hippo.
In fact, elephants, buffalo, hippos, and rhinos have killed more humans than leopards, lions, and anything else.
You go out there with some white marbles in your pocket, I tell you, it's going to snap you up straight away. Other three of them bang, at the same time. I'm thinking, is this film? Is there someone at the back end where they've got a big black lever on their bum, and you've got to kind of push it down there? A while.
Oh my goodness! But yes, that's the next horror film that's going to be coming. The Killer Donkey. There you go. That'll be the sequel.
Michael Bay's new epic.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I think we've got a message here. Great show, Reese. This is from Charlene. Great show, Reese. Scarlett. Oh, this is her daughter. Scarlett is confused as to why Ben sounds so different. Sending love. I think it's because he's not doing his Wallace voice. That's why. That's why he sound. This is how he sounds. Because you apparently.
Hello, Scarlett. Is that better? Was that all right?
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Just to prove it's me.
There you go. That's the proof that it is him. Guys, I didn't pay this guy to come in and say, look, can you pretend to be Wallace for half?
You didn't pay me at all. You didn't buy me a coffee, mate. Come on.
I'll get you one after.
Oh, that's very kind. Now, what have I got here? I had a chai latte from downstairs. Very nice. I can't have it because I don't know who they are. But the name's not on the front of it.
Okay, just really quickly on the next one. So we are getting a sequel to I Am Legend 2, directed by Stephen Cable Jr., also joined by Michael B. Jordan, who of course we know from Sinners. Will Smith is apparently coming back, I believe. So I'm just trying to think. Oh, this guy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, brilliant. So the guy who's directing it actually knows Michael B. Jordan because he directed Creed 2. And he's also the director of Transformers Rise of the Beast, which I haven't seen because I'm not a Transformers fan. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm
not seen any of them.
I have seen the first two.
More games though, because there's more toys than games.
Yeah, the Michael Bay ones, they just, I don't know.
I still think Pop-Up Pirate would make a better film.
Definitely, absolutely. But yeah, so the director of Creed 2 is going to be directing I Am Legend 2. And Will Smith is going to apparently be returning. They say they don't know what the plot's going to be, but they reckon they're on it right now. They're going to be filming it later this year. So that's quite... I mean, I loved the first I Am Legend. It was a really, really good film. Obviously, I'm sad about, spoiler alert, what happened to the dog. But it was a really good film. And I know there was criticism about the ending, because there was 2 endings, apparently.
Is it a remake of the Omega Man? Is that the same one? The one Charlton Heston did? It's just him and he's on his own, and then there's this weird...
Yeah, I think it was. It's based off the book.
That's right.
But I think the movie was actually really... I mean, God, it was very, very entertaining.
Yeah, he's always good, isn't he?
And yeah, and I was back when Will Smith was in his heyday, and he was doing loads of big action stuff, because I think he also done... what was that other superhero one he done?
Hancock,
that's it.
I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really fun. I enjoyed Hancock. I need to watch that one again, actually, because I've only watched it twice, like years ago. But I do need to watch it again. But I do remember it. So I think it was like when Will Smith was literally like banging out all these action movies. But I Am Legend was definitely one of his best ones. Although there was one I think he done called After Earth or something. Oh my goodness, that was atrocious.
Oh, missed that one.
Don't watch it. It's atrocious. It was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, but that was back when M. Night Shyamalan wasn't pouring out any good movies at the time. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so avoid that one.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I watched it, and do you know what? It made me fall asleep. It was that bad.
Wow.
And I'm sorry to say this. I know this is quite a strong criticism, but I'm just saying as criticism, not to be offensive.
You bought your ticket, you can say...
Will Smith's son cannot act.
Jaden Smith?
He cannot act. In After Earth, he's awful.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. When I watched it, I was laughing more than... When there was a serious scene where he's in danger, and he's like, all this dialogue coming out, oh my God, and Dad, I'm like, oh my goodness, this dialogue is so laughable. Now he's executing it. And there's also one bit which made me laugh, because I don't know why he said it, because there's a scene where his suit changes colour. And I don't know why this was in the script or if he tried to ad-lib it or something, but it just wasn't needed. This is how critical I am with my filmmaking. So his suit changes colour. He goes to his dad, oh my God, Dad, my suit's changed colour. It kind of looks cool, but I feel bad. What? What do you mean? It looks cool, but it makes you feel bad.
That's the problem with the script.
Yeah. But I don't know what... I was like, what? Is it trying to make us say that he's in danger? I was like, I don't get that. Am I supposed to be worried about him?
See, I've jumped to his defence.
Yeah.
Like you jumped to my defence on the internet with my detractors. Who, by the way, I completely ignore. I can't have anyone say, I don't like this guy. I'm like, I don't want to know. Just get on with the job. I feel like I need to defend Jaden Smith now, even though I've not seen a single film
fair enough.
ever made. So I'll have to rectify that by watching it, and I might see him and go, you might be right.
Okay. But yeah, unfortunately, in my opinion, he just can't. He's not very good at these.
He's only a young man.
He hasn't got
time to learn. Come on, it's easy.
Fair enough. I mean, maybe he just needs a better director and better script. Who knows?
A couple of months at the London dungeons will see him.
He's that desperate for the money. Okay, now another exciting one I really need to talk about is, of course, that Evil Dead Burn has released a teaser clip, not trailer, of their new film. We saw this, me and my wife, when we went to see The Mummy, and oh my goodness, it was really like, this was something like, they didn't show like a cliche of the trailer of, someone goes in the house and it's still... They just went straight for it. It's basically a clip of a character trying to avoid real strong danger in the teaser. It goes on for about a minute and a half. She's crawling on the floor. People are getting thrown around. There's something floating in the background. We don't see what it is. And she's trying to avoid it. The ceiling's coming down. It literally, you're watching and you're like, I don't know what this is, but this looks good. And as soon as it said Evil Dead Burn, me and my wife, we literally fist bumped each other and went, we're into this. Like straight away. So we are very excited for Evil Dead Burn. Right, I'm going to flip this one on its head now. I'm not going to talk about horror. I need to talk about this trailer very quickly. Coyote vs. Acme has finally released its trailer. Yes, guys, the movie that Warner Brothers did not want you to see has now finally come out of its cage, thanks to Catch Up Entertainment. So they finally released released a trailer, which, by the way, they were slating Warner Brothers now. I love the jokes that they put in it. It was so good. So, in case you don't know, Coyote vs. Acme is a film where Coyote decides to sue the Acme Corporation because every time he's tried to catch that Roadrunner, everything is faulty. So he decides to actually sue Acme with Will Forte playing his lawyer, and they're going up against John Cena. That's right. John Cena is actually playing the lawyer for Acme Corporations, and he's going to be the main villain. In fact, if you haven't seen the trailer, poor Tweety Bird. Like, seriously, there's a bit where he's grabbing Tweety Bird and squeezing the life out of it.
Who's the voice actor on there, Stan? Is it, and they haven't given Coyote.
Oh no, he doesn't. He hasn't spoken.
He hasn't got a. What about Tweety though? Because it was Mel.
I'm guessing it's Joe Alice. No, what's his name? No, Eric. What's his name?
I should know these things.
Hang on, 1 second.
This field I work in.
I'm going to just quickly. I know this isn't radio, me searching, but let me just quickly. Yes, that's his name. Eric Boyza, that guy. Eric, it's him.
Okay.
He now voices Looney Tunes.
Okay.
He does quite a lot of Looney Tunes voices. He's kind of like the new Mel Blanc now. And I got to say, he's really good.
Yeah, sure.
He's very, very good. And it's like as well, Billy West as well, who did Bugs Bunny and Space Jam as well. In fact, Billy West said this. He said, yeah, I did Bugs Bunny, but Mel Blanc will always be Bugs Bunny, and I'm just another Bugs Bunny in the lineup. Yeah, you know, and that's what he called himself.
There'll be someone else after you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so yeah, as far as I know, Coyote doesn't talk in this, and I hope he doesn't, unless Jeffrey Katzenberg got involved. He goes, "Oh, can we get Will Smith to voice Coyote or something?"
It was a sort of bit, on Family Guy, where they kind of go to sort of like and it's him. It's the Coyote's in the shop taking something back, but talking. So this thing didn't actually get me. Just slammed me into a wall. And his wife's outside saying,
"Yeah, what are you doing? I'm taking care of it."
That's the one. And they've gone, you know what?
And I just love that he was so well spoken as well. Yeah. Like, I've been a customer here for years. Like, he's got this Californian accent. But you think where he lives, he'd be like, "I'm going to go and catch that Roadrunner." You know what I mean?
They were great. Roadrunner and Coyote were absolutely brilliant.
Oh, they were. And of course, Chuck Jones being the genius behind the cartoons.
Yeah, and the same punchline. Remember?
Exactly.
Just this puff of dust down the end of this, canyon or whatever.
Here's an interesting question. Before we jump into the next bit, this is a question I would love to ask you. If you could actually get a chance to voice another cartoon character, who would it be?
Oh, no, it's a good one, that, isn't it? You know what? I think it's more a case of what, The Simpsons is my favourite, TV program. Never mind non-Hardman cartoon.
Yeah.
And I think sort of, being something on that, I think would be incredible. But I would rather get a new character than do something that's already there.
Another, of course.
They were recasting Rick and Morty not so long ago.
Oh.
And I threw my hat into the ring there. But I tell you what, I listened to people because there's a thing where you could see the guy doing it. There's already people out there. I go, they're so much better than me. There's no way I would get that. You know what I mean? It's a funny show. But yeah, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. I love puppetry as well. There is that.
You could play like another Kermit the Frog or something.
I've got to tell you a story, Lester. So you got stuff to do because I was going to.
No worries. Well, no problem. No problem.
I got a big plaudits for some puppetry last night. I was at the Royal Festival Hall, and I was in a film made by 1927 Productions in Maker Theatre. They do live animation with actors.
Amazing.
And last night they did this piece of animation with silent movie that I helped them to make. It's Sands Films there in Rotherhithe.
Nice.
And it was incredible. But there was a bit, and I'm playing the bad guys. Very, very stylized silent movie. And they gave me a rubber snake, and they said, "That's your snake." And I thought, "Oh, I'm going to try and make this look alive." And it was just hooked round, and I just put it, and I thought, "Oh, that kind of looks good." Anyway, after the movie, someone said, "What kind of snake was that you were handling?" And I thought, "Yes, come on!" The movie feels like I'm a puppeteer now. There's a rubber one from Amazon or somewhere, I don't know, but not the Amazon. But yeah, it was a great night last night, I have to say.
Amazing.
Fantastic to be there. Brilliant film, and hopefully people are going to be able to see it as well, without the entire London Symphony Orchestra playing along as they were last night. They've just gone into something now, haven't they?
Yeah, you have.
Do you know what I was doing the night before that?
What?
Pushing a bin around the streets. I certainly was around. Hand of the water.
As you do.
I will tell you, but listen, I know you want to do a movie.
Oh, no,
review.
it's
I wanna
fine.
get
No,
away.
mate,
I'm seeing
it's
Leatherface
absolutely
up
fine.
there, and I'm quite
It's
excited
absolutely.
about
This is a chatty show. It's all good. We still got 35 minutes. We're all good.
Well, I'll get back to that bin later on.
Yeah. It's a very interesting story, guys. We'll talk about the bin. Right, this is the last bit of movie news I'm going to jump in, then I'm going to jump into the review of The Mummy. So, this is about Texas Chainsaw Massacre's movie, which they found a director. And I'm really happy about this because this is a good choice. Now, he directed a YouTube movie, you can see on YouTube, called Milk and Cereal, but it's called Cereal as in Serial Killer. And it's about an influencer who's not getting many views, so he thinks, oh, I've got an idea to get views, and he goes around killing people. And it's a dark comedy. There are some bits you can actually laugh at, but then it gets really dark as it goes on. And in fact, the movie's not even very long. I think it's just over an hour, but you can definitely check it out. But the director, Curry Barker, I almost said Curry Baker then, Curry Barker, is now directing his next film, comes out this year, called Obsession, which I am so excited about. I cannot wait for Obsession. That's one of my anticipated horror films of this year. But he's now taken the reins of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie for A24. Now, this is why I'm excited. Now, I know everyone goes, reboots, whether. Hang on a minute, just hold your horses for 2 minutes, right? Just hear me out. Again, I'm defending. Number one, it's from A24, and nearly every movie that A24 do is always spectacular. I mean, even if it's not a horror film, A24 deliver. The filmography that they do, I mean, come on, guys. A24 is top-notch, best studio out there at the moment. So, there you go. So, if they're taking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then you know that they're going to do a good job with it. And I mean, it's going to make it really, more messed up. Number two, Curry Barker is a good director. Milk and Cereal, as a YouTube film, was absolutely brilliant. Like I said, I really support the indie filmmaking, so he done a really good job with that. In fact, it doesn't even look like a YouTube video. It's like you are actually watching a feature film that is put on YouTube. It looks really good. And apparently, they only made that for $5,000 or something, or really cheap or something like that. And then, secondly, he's got another film coming out called Obsession, which I am super excited about because that movie looks really good. And I've already heard early reactions from America. They said that movie is completely up. So that gets up my excitement. Yeah. So I've got no fears about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If he's going to take over this film, I think he's going to do a bang up job. So I have no worries or any fears. So do you know what? Bring it on. And then if it turns out to be rubbish, I will stand corrected. And I will say, okay, sorry, maybe I overhyped it. But I don't know. There's so many good points about not disappointed. You know? I mean, look, maybe if it was Jason Blum, I'd be like, because we know what Jason Blum's like sometimes. He has done some hit and miss films. There are some films that are done which are brilliant, and some films which he's done where I've come out going, yeah, anyway, but that's another story. Anyway, but that's why I'm really happy that A24 is taking over the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. But speaking of Jason Blum, let's jump into the Mummy review. We need to talk about the Mummy review, definitely. So the Mummy is a retelling film. It's sort of a retelling of the Mummy films. Obviously, Brendan Fraser's not involved. No, I'm not going to lie. I wasn't really a huge fan of the Brendan Fraser Mummy film. I never really watched it or grew up with it as a kid. And I think I only watched it once and I completely forgot about it. So I'm not really into the Mummy films as much. However, what they've done with this one is they've now made it full-on horror. And can I just say, ignore the critics, because critics are very mixed about it, but the audiences love it, and me and my wife loved this movie. There's many reasons why. Number one, it doesn't hold back. It goes full-on horror. So that I'm really happy about. Number two, the story is completely the girl goes missing, 8 years later she's been found, and she comes back in a very deformed state. But again, it's kind of funny. Oh, the parents are, Dora, we'll look after her. And then you take her back home and you're like, look, you know this isn't going to go well. But you go along with it because you know the suspense is coming. And Lee Cronin, by the way, who directed Evil Dead Rise, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, watch it if you're a horror fan. The guy knows how to do horror. I mean, Evil Dead Rise really surprised me. I loved that movie. It was one of my favourite films of 2023. And when I heard he was directing The Mummy and I saw one of the trailers, I was like, this is going to intrigue me. And me and my wife decided to go and give it a go. We thought that we'll go and check it out. And I can honestly say it's like an Evil Dead Rise, but on steroids. So if you thought Evil Dead Rise was violent and dark and spooky and went bad, you haven't seen The Mummy. The Mummy really does not hold back.
You've talked me into that one, actually, I think, Reese. I think I'll go and see that. Continue if I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
plugging in, but you're selling it to me.
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate the feedback. Thank you. So it really does keep the suspense going. It's so unsettling. It's really dark, and there are just so many moments where there's some shots of characters with certain faces. You know, like when there's a character that just stares on the screen and they're so focused on something. Do you know that creeps me out so much? That like stuff like that. And when they have a certain voice as well, it's like, hello, do you want to come and play? Like that. It's like, oh my God, man, don't. Like, ugh. It really does get under my skin. Stuff like that really creeps me out. Especially when they have the wide eyes and the grinning teeth and they're just like, hello. It really does get under my skin. And it done that a lot. Like, especially the first bit. And I remember I was watching, I was just like, my God, it really, and at times I was like rubbing my shoulders, like, ugh. And then, of course, right, by the way, guys, this is absolute truth. I want to just throw this out. You've probably heard that the movie is very gross. It is. It is gross as anything. I'm not going to explain. I can't anyway. But let's just say, if you have a strong stomach, you could get through it. But there are moments that will make you go, ugh.
Are you talking body horror kind of gross?
Yeah, and eating certain things as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to throw that out there. Yeah, there were moments where I did even go a little bit, you know. So, yeah, like I said, guys, this film does not hold back.
See it before dinner.
Oh yeah. Oh, in fact, don't eat while watching it. If you've got a strong stomach and you can go for anything, fine. Do what you want. Eat the popcorn. But there might be moments where you might choke on your popcorn or spit out your drink and be like, ugh. And by the way, these gross things, they just come in your face. There's no build up.
Right.
It just pops in your face. Because there is one scene that I'm not going to say too much about. Let's just say it involves they're trying to clean up the girl. And then it goes, and my wife was next to me, and she made this noise. She literally went, and she was like, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is not going to hold back. But yeah, that's what it does. But as a film, as a story overall, I loved it. As a horror film, absolutely loved it. It's kind of fun as well, like fun in a messed up way. You know, like when you watch a horror film and the characters get in danger and there's a build up and then when it all comes down and it all goes like crazy, you really do get that adrenaline feel. And I love films like that where it gets you that adrenaline. Evil Dead Rise done that to me because when the action does kick off and the suspense builds up, you get that adrenaline feel because you're like, oh, it's really coming at you now, and it really does get into you, and I love that. So The Mummy done that for me. So yeah, if you're a massive horror fan, you don't mind violence and loads of gross stuff, then by all means go and support this movie because it does need to be seen on the big screen as well. By the way, the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, but honestly, it's not boring. It goes at a good pace. It's very investing. The characters are very likable. In fact, the kids in it, the two girls, they are the best actors in the movie. The girl who plays the girl who got lost and comes back, she is absolutely terrifying, but so brilliant. This is her first role, and she smashed it out of the park. And her sister as well, the girl who plays her sister, my God, she's like, I remember saying to my missus, I was like, the kids were actually better than the parents when it came to the acting. Like, I mean, the parents were good, but the kids really, like, they sold it. And the scenes that they do and what happens in it, I was like, my God, these kids are really, really good. And the fact that they're in this messed up horror and they're only about, like, 8 and 10 or whatever, I was like, they're really, really good. Yeah. It's amazing.
You see that more and more now. Yeah, actors are very, very good.
So, yeah, guys, go and check out The Mummy. You haven't seen it, I do strongly recommend if you want to check out a very suspenseful adrenaline movie that's really going to yeah. And by the way, like I said, it is gross, so just warning you there.
Horror movies are making a bit of an impression now.
They really are.
We had two horror movies nominated for best film. Just two? Have I missed one out?
But so Weapons was nominated for best support, and they won that.
But best picture, you had Frankenstein,
yeah,
and Sinners.
Yes.
We sort of cross genre slightly, but you know, two. Did you see? We talked about Sinners before. Did you see Frankenstein?
Yeah, absolutely. I just saw that in the cinema. I didn't watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
I thought it was a good film.
Gorgeous.
I did enjoy Frankenstein. About The Bride. Have you seen The Bride?
Oh, I love that movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Do you know what? Again, critics are slating it, but it's so
divided,
good.
I think. Yeah,
I loved it. Jessie Buckley is amazing.
Yeah.
She makes that
I very
film.
much heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's insane in it.
Yeah.
She's absolutely bonkers, and she makes that movie. Honestly, The Bride. Yeah, I'm so gutted that it didn't do well at the box office because do you know what? That movie was absolutely awesome. I loved it. In fact, I'm just going to come out and say it. It's actually one of my favourite films so far I've seen this year.
Well, there you go.
Well,
that's the thing. If it doesn't have a success initially, then but it has a sustained
cult following.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if people do check it out, they might go, "Oh, do you know what? I wish I'd seen that," because it's really fun. Again, it's another fun film.
Yeah.
And Christian Bale plays Frankenstein. He's really good in it. But it's just bonkers. And I love films like that are just like over the top, but have a good story. But honestly, Jessie Buckley just sells it. She just, when you watch her in the film, she really entertains you because she just drags that movie forward.
Yeah.
And I watched her and I was like, is there nothing this woman cannot do? I mean, also as well, I mentioned Fargo.
Yeah.
She's in season 4 of that,
right.
and she plays a very bizarre, dangerous nurse, and she's insane.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, she's a good actor. I remember the first film I saw was was it called Beast? With Johnny Flynn set on the Jersey, I think it is, or the Isle of Wight or somewhere, and there's a killer on the loose, and everyone thinks it's him.
It's him, yeah.
It's like The Lodger. You ever see The Lodger? This is a very early Hitchcock movie. It's
probably like The Wrong Trousers, The Lodger. Yeah.
There you go. One of my working at the museum that I told you about there on the South Bank.
Yeah.
Being able to go and watch old films at the old National Film Theatre, BFI, as it is now there.
And
seeing The Lodger.
Prince Charles Cinema as well. They do loads of old films.
I'm a lifetime member and have been for 25 years. And I think that was the last one I went to see Interstellar for the first time the other night.
Nice. Last time I went there, Prince Charles, I saw Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, nice! Because I don't think I've seen that on the big screen.
Yeah, that is good. Because my friend had never seen it, so I was like, "Look, you got to see Doctor Strangelove." So we saw it.
It's so good that I've been going 25 years now. Well, I've been more than that, but it's just more popular now than it's ever been.
It's really good.
And yet they're under threat from the landlord.
I know. It's ridiculous. I mean, I still need to see the films. The one I am going to go see in the big screen. I just booked it now. Because, by the way, Picture House, if you've heard of Picture House, they're doing a Martin Scorsese marathon. So they're showing The Departed, Shutter Island, Taxi Driver. But I'm going to go see Cape Fear in the cinema.
Oh, yeah, no, I did watch that when it came out in the cinema.
Oh, I've never seen it yet.
It's snuck into that.
It's amazing, Cape Fear.
Yeah.
I love it. In fact, it's actually my favourite Martin Scorsese movie. Yeah. I know people prefer Taxi Driver. Fair enough. I do love those movies as well. But Cape Fear, there's something about that movie that I just love more than anything he's done. It's so suspenseful. Plus, Robert De Niro is terrifying in that film, and he's so evil. Like, he's just insane. And I love Nick Nolte in the film as well. In fact, do you know he begged to be in that film? He was desperate to be in that movie.
It was a remake as well, of course. Yeah.
And what was so funny as well is Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro, they got on. But do you know the original Cape Fear? The two actors didn't get on.
Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck. And they're in the remake. They didn't get on?
They are, yeah. In real life, they didn't get on.
Well, that works, because they're,
They're doing separate scenes
in
the remake,
but they're enemies in the first one, so
yeah.
The King of Comedy, have you seen that one as a Scorsese movie?
Yes, a long time ago, but I need to watch that again.
And they the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Yeah, they played it out.
Had a lot of that on there.
In fact, funny enough, I thought when I watched the Joker film, when I heard about the Joker film, and I saw what it was going to be, I had no idea that Todd Phillips was the director. I thought it was going to be Martin Scorsese himself. Because when I looked, I was like, this looks like a Martin Scorsese movie. But it turns out it wasn't. It was Todd Phillips. I was like, what, the guy who directed The Hangover? I was like, okay, I'm surprised. But please tell me you didn't see the sequel to Joe.
I haven't seen the sequel.
Yeah, don't.
Really?
I walked out.
Oh, really?
I walked out. I hated it. It's the worst movie I've ever seen that year. There's no, it doesn't need to exist. It didn't need to exist. Or if it needed to exist, it had to be a different film. It was atrocious. Me and my mate looked at each other and we went, what the hell did we just, like, no.
You're kind of selling it to me now, though. Like, could it really be that, you know?
Well, look, if you want to waste 2 hours, that's fine. I don't say I didn't want, because if you could, yeah, Reese, you're all right, sorry, mate. And I'd be like, mate, why? Yeah, I would strongly recommend you don't watch it. My wife never saw it, but I said to her, you should. But she was like, yeah, but I'm kind of tempted. So, no, you do not want to watch it, seriously. I said, look, if you want to watch it, feel free, but you will turn it off, believe me. I said, I bet you after 10 minutes you'll turn it off. Because she won't enjoy it. She won't. And I know she won't. And trust me, everybody who's seen it has said the exact same thing. Someone else walked out, someone else fell asleep, someone else asked for their refund back because they hated it that much. Yeah, seriously, I want my ticket money back. He was like, I hate this movie, I want my money back. It was that bad.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, seriously.
That's harsh on the cinema.
It's a shame. It's a shame. But you know what? Thank God it flopped. Thank
Well,
God.
there you go.
Yeah, so there you go. And it was nominated for Worst Film and everything. I was like, yay, good. I hope it wins because it's...
I wonder at what point, because as I said, I don't know anyone seen it, but you know, there's a lot of hard work goes into making these films.
Yeah.
And, you're giving this thing going, this is a gamble.
Yeah.
You know, straight away, when you must get a script like that is that, I won't even say divisive, because I don't know if anyone's saying, they've just said, right, is this actually going to land, or are we, what are we doing here?
I know.
And we just go through the motions.
It's funny you should say that, because Seth MacFarlane, who did Ted, when he made that film, he was like, when he was pitching it to 20th Century Fox, because he works for Fox as a family guy, and they didn't want it. They said, we don't want this idea. It sounds a bit too risky. Yeah. It's a bit weird. There's a CGI bear. It's going to cost too much money, so we don't want this. Went to Universal, who, by the way, are a brilliant studio, because they were like, yeah, we'll give it a go. We want to do the R-rated version. If we lose money, we lose money. They're literally like, we don't care. And so Seth made Ted, and apparently when he pitched it to Mark Wahlberg said, this is the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard. A talking teddy bear that smokes pot and swears a lot. But apparently what made him want to do it was the whole buddy comedy thing. Plus he met Seth and they got on really well. But apparently Mark Wahlberg's wife actually said, your career's over. If you do this movie, your career is over. They done the movie, she went and saw it, and then she loved it. She said, actually, I was wrong. This movie's really funny. And then, of course, it beat loads of records. It became the highest grossing R-rated comedy.
TV show, but no, I think.
Yeah, there is. And the TV
show
is really good.
Is it good?
It's a prequel to the Ted movies. But the problem is, Seth was saying there won't probably be a season 3 because it costs 10 million to make an episode.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's that expensive. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So he said, I don't know if there's going to be a season 3, but fans want it because saying that, it's been #1 on HBO for like 5 weeks now. So it's still doing its job. Right. So people are still loving it, and it is really, really funny. It is really, it's so rude, and I love that. I love that it's still like bringing that offensive comedy to what we need, really, laughing at rude humour. And that's what I love about Seth, because he doesn't hold back. And do you know what? It's just brilliant. And again, because it's so stupid, it's a talking teddy bear. It goes to high school and stuff, and it auditions for plays, and it's just genius, But that's Seth MacFarlane, and he is a genius, and I love his work. I'm a huge fan of everything he's done, and not just Family Guy, but I loved the Ted films. I loved Many Ways to Die in the West. I loved the Orville as well, which he done, which was really good. I'm hoping they do a season 4.
He's a big musical theatre guy as well, isn't he?
Frank Sinatra.
I wonder why he hasn't got into that like the South Park guys did.
Yeah.
With Mormon, because that's a that's a long runner if you write the right one. I wonder why he didn't go that way.
I think he has been.
Well, he just write a musical.
Yeah, he would be amazing in a musical. Absolutely, as long as he's singing Frank Sinatra, I'll be happy. Yeah. I remember he voiced the mouse in Sing, and he does sing Frank Sinatra in it. And I remember watching the trailer, and I said Seth MacFarlane, and they showed a clip where he sings Pennies from Heaven. And I remember I was going, this is gold, this is gold, and I loved it. And I remember downloading just those songs with Seth MacFarlane singing, and I was listening to it on repeat for ages because his voice is gold. It's just beautiful.
He's
amazing.
Actor. He's a really good voice actor.
Funny enough, I can do a bit of Peter Griffin.
Come on, give us a Peter.
Was that a Lois impression?
That was Lois. Yeah, go.
Okay, so I can do. Okay, here's what I can do. I can do Peter, Quagmire, Cleveland, and a bit of Stewie.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll do the Peter one first, right? Okay, I need to visualise what he's going to say. Lois, is there any peas with my pies, Lois? I don't want the peas with my pie.
Bad. That's not bad, actually. You're without introducing her, going like, yeah, Peter Griffin. 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Right, was that okay?
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so I can do with my Quagmire. I can only do the giggity. I can't actually do a speech. So with Quagmire, it's like giggity giggity goo.
That's pretty good. That was good. That was good. You're getting up to the 8s now. For sure.
Okay. Cleveland, I can only say this. Oh man, that's nasty. And my Stewie this is literally all I can say.
Go ahead.
O'Brien.
Oh, that's okay. You should keep going. Get a script in front of you. You'll be able to keep going.
It's so funny because this is why I do radio, because everyone was actually saying to me, you have such a distinctive voice. Everyone was praising about, oh, you should do. I mean, that's what happened. I was telling you the story, wasn't I? When my college student was like, hey, I love your voice. You should do radio. And I was like, really? But apparently everyone has gone, you have got a radio voice. And there are times where sometimes I'll just kick up a little voice now and again, just to say, hey, you know, and just like entertain my listeners with my voice impressions or whatever. I don't know if I can do Wallace. Shall I try? Shall I try and do...
Give us your Wallace.
Okay. Do you know, funny enough, people have said I actually look like Wallace because I've got the green. If there's a live action reboot of Wallace and Gromit, I'll do Wallace. Okay.
That will happen.
Yeah, okay. So I have to kind of do like, what can I say? All right. I don't know how to personate in terms of how the voice goes, but when I think of Wallace, I'm just kind of like, good grief, it's you.
Oh, they got the young bit quite well, actually. Yeah. That's what. Can I give you some things? Try it again. Let's hear it again.
Okay. Good grief, it's you.
Yeah. Say something else. Hey,
Gromit lad, where's my cheese?
Oh yeah, that's it. What possible advice I can give you? You've absolutely nailed it.
Right to Armand, you found another Wallace.
No.
I'll do the other video games.
Yeah,
if you don't want to do the video games, I'll do the video games.
No, you're kidding me. I think you're going to fall down the stairs.
Gromit lad, where's my Nintendo PS?
It's a Switch.
Terrible.
That was
here's my latest invention, lad. If you press the A button, you don't die. It doesn't explode.
Okay, so let's think about the one that people say, how do you do it? And the first thing I latched onto was the sort of rhythm of it, which is up and down like that. So if you think a little bit about that, and just get those elongated vowels. That was my way in. But yeah, like you said earlier on, you got to make it your own. And I had 2 directors helping me out with that.
Yes,
film,
Nick
and Merlin.
Yeah, Nick Park is my hero, man. Yeah. He's a great guy. I mean, it must be amazing to work with that guy.
Well, they were both incredible to work with. Like I said, they're fantastic. And Nick is a absolute.
Do you know what? If I also got the chance to get Nick here or interview him somewhere, that would be another dream.
Good luck with that. I think he would be like spread. I've been picking up a few scraps here and there that I think they offer to Nick. Appearances and things like that. I'll be on the television tonight. In fact, I believe on the. Yes, I know. Oh. I got a job doing the Great British Menu, and I can tell you this was an absolute treat. You sit there, eat amazing food, and talk about it, and I was just. This is work that was incredible. That's where you feel like, wow, I am in a privileged position here. That was a great job, and the crew behind it were lovely as well. But yeah,
amazing.
I think I'm grateful that maybe. Nick
so speaking about the new, speaking about the new jobs though, do you have anything? Obviously, you don't have to say about what I'm going to do, but did you have anything else coming up?
Well, I do a lot of gaming, and that's why because I was working with a company called Pit Stop there in. Croydon, which is why I was on that train. Well, I won't say what, obviously, because I don't even know what it's called. But that's usually there's always a fake project name. So I do a lot of gaming. I'm working in that. Yes, there's always bits of voice. As a jobbing voice actor, just bits and pieces come up. as and when. But I do always need something to sink my teeth into. And I've been working on something called Theatre in the Bin now, and I started this at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2019. And it's kind of I've kind of kept coming in out of it and going back to it. And it's a solo piece as it stands at the moment, which is I just don't want to work on my own. Post-pandemic, I'm thinking like, no, come on, I need other people around me now. You don't want to be
Yeah,
alone.
of course.
But my friend Christina Gulick, who I'd met up at the Fringe, who lives down here in South London as well, has sort of said, we've got to do this thing, it's really good. So having someone there to support you, to be with you, so you feel like you're working together on something is absolutely vital. So we pushed this out the other night. We did a show on Earth Day, the 22nd. No one knew it was Earth Day. I don't know. Well, many people did. Did you know it was Earth Day? You knew it was Earth Day.
I knew it was Earth
Well,
Day.
next year you've got to come and see the Theatre in the Bin show, because we did a sort of like a sort of work in progress around Canada Water the other night, and it was great. It was great fun just to get it out again. So I would say to the listeners, watch out for Theatre in the Bin this summer, because we will be wheeling it around various events, keeping it quite local to South London. I've taken it up to the Edinburgh Fringe before, but it's like, no, I need to be doing it here. And it'll be kind of as and when we do it, and finding spaces to do it in, because it's an outdoor piece.
Yeah.
This one has an environmental message to it, but it's mainly me as a street cleaner with a bin, with a full of rubbish, which I make theatre out of. So it's sort of prop comedy, storytelling, a little bit educational as well. And we're hoping to sort of get it off the ground really this summer, and then get some funding behind it, and next year get it out to a bigger audience.
Awesome. Well, if you let me know where and whereabouts.
Theatre in the Bin. You can follow us on Instagram, and at some point we'll actually make some content for people to actually see on it.
Yes,
you're
absolutely.
Much better at social media than I am.
Well, I have to promote the show, absolutely. That's what I do all the time,
Yeah.
and my filmmaking as well. Because I just recently done my lineup of my film festival projects. I'm filming one in July, actually.
Yeah.
Because recently my other one got picked at Romford Film Festival. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you so much. The screening is next month on the 23rd of May. So if anyone wants to come to Romford Film Festival, 23rd of May, 11 a.m. Make sure you come and check out my film Alienation. It's a very lovely little film that I made. I'm very proud of it. But this year I've got a really, really interesting story, which I'm not going to divulge just yet. But when I get the trailer out, it's going to be so much fun. It's a very fun idea that I've got, and I cannot wait to make it.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really good one. It's very also another film close to my heart, because there's a certain related job which I'm doing. So there you go. So yeah, it's very exciting and very fun and very me, very wacky and silly, and loads of great humour involved, as I like to do. And yeah, not as emotional as my other previous projects, because the last one I made everybody cry, which I'm glad I did though, because that's
a
impact.
good emotion to get out of someone there, is, I tell you.
Exactly.
Make them laugh, make them cry.
So this
You're doing
one
your job.
is going to be very, very juicy. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. But also every week coming on the show, this is just my therapy. Whenever I've had a bit of a rough week, it's always cool to come here to get these listeners to tune in. In fact, you know what? I'm so proud, guys, that my ratings have gone up a little bit. And to everybody who's been tuning in lately, again, like the past month or so, thank you so much, because not last week, but the week before, I had my third ever listened show on the rating side, and I was so surprised and proud how much it got. And so lately this show is definitely building up some momentum.
Keep at it, mate. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Just keep going, keep doing your thing.
Exactly. And this is just like, this is always fun for me. Like, it's not just like people say, oh, you do it, but it's not a hobby. This is me. This is who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've nicknamed myself Media Manigan, because I do film, I do radio, so I call myself Media Manigan.
It's an interesting thing to you bring up there with keeping going for one thing. We're so used to things happening so quickly now, aren't we?
Yeah.
You can do anything so quickly, but there's stuff that it's gonna take time.
Absolutely.
Like getting the voice of a cartoon character right, and over years, of working on it and animation, stop motion animation, you can't do it quickly.
Exactly.
You mentioned there about doing lots of things, because this is the thing with me. I find that if I say, yeah, I do this and I do that, unless I concentrate fully on one thing,
Yeah.
I do get a little bit lost. I do, and it's like you need to focus on this, otherwise you're just going to go.
Luckily for me, I've been known as the king of multitasking.
You can do it. I wish I could.
21 years of doing it.
Yeah. Well
so
done.
still getting there.
Yeah.
Still climbing the ladder. But I can honestly say that 2026 so far, just touching wood there, has definitely been a very, 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 very strong start.
That's good.
With the show and the filmmaking and everything like that. There's loads of exciting stuff happening definitely this year. Don't forget as well, guys, my last season of Outsmarted is going to be coming out on YouTube late December, but I am going to try to do a screening for the 1st of December. I'm going to try and aim for maybe later December, but I'm going to try.
Are all your films on YouTube, Reese, that you've made?
Currently at the moment, yes.
I was looking to try and see, look at your body of work on IMDb, and I think, well, I can't watch any of these.
Oh no, it's all on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And my IMDb, there's not all of them on there. That's just actors
who
who tagged me on there.
Oh, okay.
I currently don't have IMDb, but I was tagged by the actors who do the IMDb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But with me, I'm more the YouTube. That's the filmography side. This is all my work. It's all on there.
Okay.
By the way, guys, subscribe. Reese M92. Reese M92. Make sure. So REECE M92. Just remember that. All one word, by the way, but the 92 is the number. Right. So we have now got. Let's have a look quickly. Literally 3 minutes to go. So I think we better make some final words. So, right, Ben, I got to say, having you on the show has been absolutely brilliant. It's been fun. We've had such a laugh.
Thank you, Reese.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Like, this is, again, it's a bit surreal, but it's so good that you've come on and done this. I'm honestly super grateful to you that you've done this and you've given me your time, because that's a very precious gift to give to anybody.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you've come to the studio, you've given me your time. We've had a laugh. I'm glad that we get on really well, and it's great that we have the same sort of mindset in terms of film and everything. I appreciate you telling me your stories about Wallace and Gromit and how you got there and everything. I'm glad that you're a big fan of Jaws as much as I am. Mm-hmm. No, it's been really super to have you on. I can't say it enough. So yeah, it's fully appreciated, and I'm sure. I mean, God, the amount of chats that I've had on it is one of the highest as well that I've had. I'm sure a huge amount of listeners have been tuning in as well.
We've got Charlene there. Is that who's
yeah,
we've got
amazing
here?
show, Reese and Ben.
Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in, and glad the support and everything. Like to know that Ben is still alive. He is. He's here. But honestly, in all jokes aside, it's been an absolute privilege to have you on, and I hope that maybe one day in the future you could come again to promote anything else you've got coming up. You're always welcome to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so absolutely. And also, I'll continue to support you from behind the scenes, everything. Let me know when your theatre is coming up as well. I'll definitely try and make it.
Theatre in the bin.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I want to say thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to be here, honestly, and especially being a South Londoner as I am to be on it. And I think the message is, don't be afraid to talk to people on public transport.
Yes, if you see a celeb, just kindly shout hello and see what happens. Yeah.
Well, come on, the overground Windrush line. It's
Yeah.
celeb heaven there,
It
Who
was,
knows
yeah.
who you're going to meet?
Exactly. I mean, I just think it was definitely fate that I got on the right carriage at the right time.
Yeah.
To see, like, that to me was just like, oh my God, that is fate right there. And then the fact that you wanted to come on the show was even more of like, yeah, this is just amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, 2026.
I'm glad you're happy, man.
I'm very happy, and I'm very happy you made it. I appreciate everything you've done today. So honestly, mate, it's been an absolute honour. So again, thank you.
Cheers, Reese. Let's keep doing things.
Absolutely. Right, just as we got 30 seconds, don't forget, guys, I don't know why I'm going to say it like this, but those who haven't tuned in or couldn't tune in, I am filming the video. It will come up on YouTube one day soon, so I'll keep you updated about that so you can see the whole interview. Guys, to everyone who's tuned in, sent me messages, who's listened, who's enjoyed the show, thank you all again. Please come back next week. I do have a guest joining me next week, and as I say at the end of the show, that is a wrap.